Hey everybody. My mic works now. I had to disable everything and re-enable it. And look, I got a new phone, which means that I can go live from my phone now because my old one had this like goofy clicking noise every time I went live on it. So hopefully this one doesn't do that. And then I can go live more often, like in the afternoon when I have things to do and I don't feel like sitting at my computer, so I'll just pop on. So I'm so excited about it. Not excited for the hole in my pocket, but I'm excited that I got a new one, and it's awesome. I got the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it's cool. I like it. That's a good camera. Yay! My parents are huge believers in aliens. My dad used to design parts for NASA. No joke. He could talk for hours and hours about. Dude, I am the same way. I totally believe in aliens. See, here's my thing. There is like galaxies and galaxies. I mean, there's like so like space is like huge. And to think that we're like the only solar system with an inhabitable planet, it's just like there's no way. There's got to be more. I mean, there's just no way there's not more, in my opinion. There's probably like hundreds of planets, maybe more than that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so apparently, yep, for sure. There's like aliens. Can I get like makeup on my lips? They look white. There's like aliens, like, or not aliens, sorry, UFOs being shot down, like all over. Thinking like 3 places now. Yeah, but see, this is what I worry for. Like, what if they're just trying to come down and like chill and be like, hey, we're cool, we're from another planet, and the US is just like coming in hot and shooting them down and creating like a house. That'd be cool. Worries me, but maybe they don't know about how things work. Yeah, just let them hang. I mean, they weren't doing nothing that I know of, but there's been like all kinds of TikTok stuff. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Like people posting. I saw Nerdy Ad was tweeting a lot of like pictures and stuff that people are sharing. I don't know if they're real or not, but hold on, let's see what they got here. But I just think it's like it's crazy. Like, is there really aliens coming down? Like, what happens if there is? Like, gonna be, oh, here's a video. Hold on, let me share it. All I'm saying is, if there is aliens, just hold off one more day, y'all, because the Eagles got to win the Super Bowl, and I can't be having y'all aliens mess it up for me.
Look at it.
Oh, that's the video. No. Hold on. So here's a video from Alaska. Somebody, hey Jess, what do you think about this alien invasion? All right, look.
That's way too much. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's not.
It's a balloon.
It is not. Look at it.
It's a balloon.
No, Ashley.
It's a silver balloon.
She said it's a balloon.
It's a long rectangular balloon.
That actually does look like a UFO.
That's not a balloon.
Let me see what else I got here. All right, so 54 minutes ago, military has determined what the object shot down over Canada was, but not yet released the details. At least one of the objects down was believed to be a spy balloon from China, but the other 2 had not been publicly identified. While Trudeau described the object Saturday as unidentified, the NORAD spokesman, Olivier Gallant, said the military had determined what it was, but would not reveal the details. They would recover the wreckage for study. The Yukon is the westernmost Canadian territory and among the least populated part of Canada. And apparently they're like they got all kinds of planes flying around Billings, Montana, I think. Cuz that's where we have like a lot of our military stuff. All right, hold up, cuz hold on. I'll send you a link in 1 second. Hey, Wing Zero. Let me walk. Let me say hello to everyone. Hey, Ellie. Hey, Jen. Sarah. Jonesy. I agree, Jones, and let them hang. Dang, I go bowling one night and miss the aliens, right, Abra? All right, I'll send it to you in Messenger in 1 sec. I think I've seen this movie before, right? Oh my gosh, Independence Day. That movie is so good. We need to get what's that movie where they get the keyboard and they're like Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind or whatever the hell it's called. Is it Fourth Kind? All right, so USAF up over Canada around British Columbia right now. I'm gonna be looking at the sky at everything now. Like, what the hell is that? Oh, Signs. What a great movie that is. Oh, it's funny too. That's why I love Signs because it's like it's like scary, but it was like a funny movie at the same time. It's really good. That was such a great movie though with the swing away. Hey, come. The Dayton Air Force Base about 45 minutes from me where they researched most of them back in the day. Oh, Hogwarts. I've been playing Hogwarts too, Wing Zero. I've been up to like 4 a.m. every night playing this damn game. I love it. Hogwarts is so good. If you're a gamer, 10 out of 10. I give it a 10 for sure. It's good. It's different. It's different than like any other game that I've ever played. It's like it's not like I said, it's not like any game you ever played. You have like a little wand and you do spells and you fight the people with your wand and your spells, but you have to like learn all the spells. Like each spell does something different. Like you can unlock there's one that unlocks doors. There's it's just and then you get to capture these beasts. Yeah, it's on PC. I play it on I'm playing it on Steam. My glasses are foggy. Hold on. Oh, E.T.'s a good movie too. I love when he gets drunk. No, it's on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, I think. But it's so good. It's banging. I mean, I could always like throw up a stream and play it. If you guys, want to watch it, like watch it and see what it's like. I can, always pop one up there. Oh, what did I do? But yeah, it's really good. We better party like it's 1999 again. I know. You're playing it on Steam? I wish it was multiplayer because I'd play with people. I can't find a second one. Somebody said they caught a gold one. So I just got this beast that has a star next to it and it's like a special color. And this lady said she got a gold unicorn. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, it's PC too. If you have Steam on a PC, it's on there. It's so good. It's like you have pets and you do spells and there's like this really cool storyline, and you get to go to like, and the map's huge, and it's all open world, so you could just explore, and it's cool. It's really cool. I'm trying to find this picture. Nerdy tweets. Somebody posted this. I don't know if it's real, but it says image of an object allegedly shot down in Russia airspace a few days ago. The object didn't have a visible propulsion system if the videos being shared are real. That looks like a piece of like, hey, ground up. That looks like a piece of like satellite that just like fell off and came down. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Drew Barrymore. She was adorable though in ET. Wasn't she cute in ET? What was I gonna say? Oh, and the Eagles are in the Super Bowl tomorrow. What are y'all doing for the Super Bowl? I'm going to a party because obviously it's my city, so I gotta represent. I'm gonna have some fun. And I'm gonna be listening to Meek Mill Dreams and Nightmares like all day long. Just Alexa, play Meek Mill Dreams and Nightmares. Hopefully Alexa can't hear me in here because she'll start playing it. But yeah, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm hype. So who do y'all think's gonna win? It's funny too because you bet on Eagles. We made a few bets on DraftKings and what's the other one? FanDuel. We made a few bets. I just think it's so cool too because it's like the two brother Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce are playing against each other. There's so many storylines. Like Jason Kelce and Travis are playing against each other, and they're brothers, which is just crazy to me because if you really think about it, like, what are the odds that you have two children and both of them make it to the NFL and they're both, oh, thank you, Sarah. You didn't have to do that. Both of them are in the NFL on opposing teams playing each other in the Super Bowl. Like, the odds of that is just like so slim. It's crazy. This is the first time it's ever happened in the history of the NFL. So I can't wait. My favorite alien movie is Fire in the Sky. I've watched that when I was a kid, but I don't remember anything about it. But I used to watch. I loved Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. I guess it's called, that one with the main character in that. I loved him back in the day. Like every movie, he's in Jaws. Can't think of his name, but I like that guy. Sorry, let me crack open my Red Bull. I know it's late, but I'm probably gonna play Hogwarts till like 4 a.m. anyway. So Alien's good too. Alien is good too. We were just playing Dead Space. Me and Dave were playing Dead Space last. Hey, Ground Up, what's up?
Oh, not much. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's been a rough week. We've been moving since last Friday.
Oh yeah, really? I hate moving. Nothing worse than having to pack stuff up and oh, there's my cousin. Hey, cuz. Oh, I love the shirt. I love the shirt.
Let's go Birds.
Yeah. I know, I'm excited. What do you guys think of these aliens? You think we're getting an alien invasion?
Well, I'm about to break it down right off the gate. I'm coming in swinging. I haven't even got a chance to check what I look like or anything, but you're hitting me with this right off the gate. See, there's this CIA operation called Operation, it's like Blue Light or Bluebird or something. They've been developing it since the early 70s, and what they're doing is they have, or actually it might even be before that, it might have been World War II. They started working on, they realized that if you can make projections in the sky of aircraft, you don't really need the aircraft to use that as a you know what I mean, it's a way of gaining leverage that you don't really have. If you can project perfect images of planes in the sky, the enemy's going to think they're there, and then so what everybody says is when the New World Order drops, that's how they're going to try to scare everybody into being one world, one government, one monetary system, is they're going to say, we're being invaded by aliens, so we all have to come together. Basically, they want to like convince us like it's Independence Day, and and then if you want to get biblical, that's really the Antichrist, and so forth and so on.
Surprisingly, I'm not like, if they really are coming, I'm not like.
Well, you said, what do I think of it? I actually don't know. You said, do you think we're, I don't know, getting invaded, right? That's what you're going to say or something? So that is my first initial response. Hold on. Now, give me 1 second. Let me grab my headphones because I got this on my phone. It's a mess. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah. But, yeah, like, I definitely think there's aliens, though. I just think it's like, there's no way that there's not. With how big space is and stuff.
Well, I agree with that, but why would they want to come here? I mean, we're like the slums of space. We can't even get along with each other, let alone anybody else.
Right? Maybe like resources? I don't know. I mean, or maybe just out of curiosity. But I feel like how could aliens come over here safely without us shooting them down if they were trying to come over here just to be like, hey, what's up,
Well, if they've got the technology to come here from as far away as they'd have to come, we're not shooting them down.
Yeah. So here's other pictures that are circulating. It's so weird. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I just really think there's definitely like there's no way we're the only ones. I mean, I imagine that they would look different because they probably evolved with different resources, but what's Joe Rogan's take on it?
There's also been a theory that some of this stuff we're seeing isn't necessarily from other planets, but possibly other dimensions or alternate universes or.
Well, that's a real thing. I mean, they've been doing that with DMT for a while, is communicating with aliens from other dimensions.
Other dimensions? I mean, I could see that too.
What, you haven't heard of this?
Mm-mm.
Oh, Alex Jones.
I mean, I've heard of it on like Marvel, but not.
No, yeah. Alex Jones has been. Didn't you see Alex Jones on what's his name's podcast?
I don't watch Alex. Well, who on Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Joe Rogan. I didn't see him on.
You didn't watch that? Oh my God, it was like the best one. Because they had beef, for a while. Like they got in this. I don't know. Alex was all stressed, and this is when they like come back together and like work it out on the air. But then they like talk for like 3 hours and drink and smoke blunts. It's great. It was like the best one. I'm serious.
I gotta watch it.
And he's like,
I watched
dude,
the one where he interviewed that guy who had like an alien encounter. I forget his name. He's like one of the biggest like alien believers that like puts it out there. I don't know, like alien.
What, the guy from Area 51 who worked there?
Yeah, that guy.
Dude, that was crazy. That's a Netflix. That's a documentary. I don't know what it's on.
He made a documentary on Netflix, but Joe Rogan had him on and interviewed him.
Yeah. But did you
Bob
see the actual
Lazar
documentary? Yes, Bob Lazar, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
The actual documentary was fantastic. Like absolutely mind blowing.
Well, if any of you saw this, I don't know if any of you watch it, but this past season of Skinwalker Ranch, right over there off the mesa, where I think it's like, what they say, 500 feet off the ground, there's an anomaly basically in midair, and they were directly over the top of it with a helicopter, and they were dropping what was basically sealed capsules with a GPS in them, and they had streamers off the back of them, and they were in like emergency yellow and stuff so they could be seen, and they were hovering in a helicopter right over this anomaly, dropping these, and they were not going through it. I mean, they were literally landing a mile away from it, and when they went back, some of the GPS trackers, they couldn't pull any information off of them, and other ones, basically the GPS information said they went right through the side of a solid cliff wall and ended up a mile away. They couldn't get anything to drop through that anomaly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's really. I honestly, I watched the first season, but it was like I felt like they kept on like putting off actually showing things for a while, so I got bored and left. But it did seem obviously like there was some crazy things going on there. I mean, seriously, that's what happened. I was like, I can't take this because the Bigfoot thing came out right at the same time, and dude, that got me good.
Well, I was the same way. I watched the first season and I was like, this is kind of lame. But then this past season that just went off a few months ago, I watched it and it was way better.
Okay.
They're showing a lot more stuff.
Okay, I'll take a look.
I watched like a couple episodes of that, but I couldn't get into it for some reason. I don't know why. Someone said, "What the f Bobbles are? Where are you?"
What do you watch the documentary? He's chilling. He's finally like vindicated. Like it's all coming out. Like he like all the things like
Craft is using one.
Oh, hold on. Here's him in 1996. Let me play the clip. See what he said.
What they call Omicron configuration, where the craft is using one generator, or Delta configuration, where it's utilizing all three. Delta configuration would be for space travel. Essentially, the craft will tilt up on its side, focus the three gravity generators to a single point, and move through space that way. If you were going to see one of these crafts at night operating, it would appear really as a glowing ball or just a bright light in the sky from a distance. Even close up, you'd see a glowing halo around it. What you're dealing with is a high energy source in essentially a gas atmosphere, oxygen, nitrogen. And when you apply enough energy to a gas molecule, they emit photons, they emit light, what they call.
So there was some like pictures and TikToks from Alaska, and there was like colored ball, like a colored ball in the sky. Let me see if I can find the picture.
Well, that clip that was playing when he was saying that was one of the ones the Navy released last year. And obviously they showed it because it did exactly what he said. It looked like it turned up on its side.
Yeah. I know Nerdy posted it. Hold on, I'll find it.
He's chilling when he's not getting raided by the FBI. He said he's been raided 5 times since he came out in '86. Yeah.
No,
he's been raided by the FBI like 5 times.
Oh, more. Yeah, I mean,
Why? Because he has like information from Area 51.
What happened? Yeah, he said some. Look, you got to watch the documentary.
I watched it, but I don't remember anything from it.
Well, I don't think you saw the right one. This is the one they just made, and he's like kind of vindicated in this one because the person goes to him and is like, "Look, they've come out with all this stuff you've said. Like, how does that make you feel now?" And he was like, "Well, look, I was never about the limelight. I was never trying to be on the camera. I hate this stuff." But now, so like he doesn't do anything, but he happened to this documentary, and it just looks like he's like now happy. Like it's like he's vindicated. I mean, and that's what he says all through the documentary. He says the reason he came out on TV was because he was scared for his life. It was his insurance policy to go and say, "This is what's going on. If I get killed, you know what happened."
Smart.
Yeah, because his wife had been being followed and he had been threatened several times, and they had threatened his wife's life, like when they called him on the phone, and it was getting pretty drastic. So he felt like the only way that he could have any protection was just to come out, because if he came out and then something happened, it would look really obvious.
Right. Hey, Pam.
He did an anonymous. It all started because it was like the 70s, and he did this news slot. All these people were gathering at Area 51, and they asked him like, "Oh, do you think they have this aircraft?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, I know they do." And they had him they changed his. Well, they didn't change his voice, but they had him all in the shadows. But they obviously figured out it was him, so that's why he came out on TV.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy documentary.
Well, the reason they keep raiding him is because I can't think of the word, but whatever he said that used for a that ship used for a fuel source. It was
Yeah.
some kind of
Yeah,
it's something that's not on our periodic table, and we can't create it.
Yeah,
Hey, Grandma
It's
Terry.
something 51, and they think
Element 51.
Yeah, and Element 51, and he said that the FBI is convinced that he took some of that, and that's why they keep raiding.
Did. Yo,
So
watch
what
the
is it? Like a rock?
watch the documentary. He says it. They're like, why do they think that you took it? And remember, they went in that backwoods, and they're like, we're not telling anybody, we're taping this right now, and they cut it out. Dude, did you saw that part or no?
Well, I don't know if I'm watching the same one you did. The one I watched was called Area 51 and Bob Lazar or something like that. It was on Netflix, but
that might be the same one. But you're in the woods at this one part, and they're saying why would they still be after you? And then they ask him, they're like, could they think that you took some of this? And he's like, and all of a sudden it cuts, and it's like, we were going to include this footage, but and it just leaves you like they don't say he didn't take it, and like all of a sudden they're like, we can't talk about what he said. So he's got some of that shit.
Yeah, he never said he took it, but he never said he didn't. And the FBI is convinced that he has some of it, and that's why they keep raiding him.
And that's probably his insurance policy at the same point. Like he's got it buried somewhere.
Like what it is, like if it's like solid or like a gas or like.
He didn't say. I'm assuming from the way they talked, it was solid, but I don't think they really said.
He described it as, I don't know. I guess I just made a picture in my head, but
I just pictured it as like a rock, like some kind of mineral or something.
I think it's like a meteor.
No, I'm wrong. I think they said you got to arrange it like a triangle. Like it's got something to do with the actual element. If you form it into a certain shape, that's how you make it happen. So that's what they said in that documentary.
Well, the messed up thing, and his stuff was obviously way before, but like when they were talking about that, and he was talking about it, wasn't necessarily the components of it as much as the shape and the way it's made. It kind of made me think of when in Iron Man, when he was trying to recreate that element, and then he couldn't do it, and he couldn't do it, and then finally he figured it out because it was the shape of it and all this. That's exactly what it made me think about. Yep. But obviously when
element
he said
115, is that what it is?
Yeah. 115.
Element 115 is an enigma of sorts. It is only added to the periodic table in 2016. Yet for decades, it has attracted extra attention because of a supposed connection to extraterrestrial technology and alien life forms.
That's it.
But for years, the government swore up and down element 115 didn't exist, and he made it up. But yeah, he says that's why they keep raiding him, is because they think he has it.
Well, yeah.
So, element 115 or moscovium is a man-made element, super heavy element that has 115 protons in its nucleus.
That's not man. Well, I think they're. Wait, I forget. Are they trying?
Hey, Nate.
I do remember them saying it got added to our periodic table, but I don't know how they could add it because, as far as I know, they never could recreate it.
Exactly. That's what I thought. So I don't.
That's why they couldn't. That's why he said that's why they never could reverse engineer any of the technology or anything, is because you have to have element 115 to make it work, and we can't recreate it.
Well, they had the element 115 though, but they couldn't harness it or something. Like they had it, like they had working spaceships that already had it working, but they couldn't reverse engineer it. So we had the element. We just don't.
We can't create more of it.
We can't create a propulsion system from it. It's not even a propulsion system. It's, oh God, he describes how the spaceship works in the documentary. It's amazing. It has to do.
He said they use like a generator. I just put like the clip I played.
It reverses magnetism in a way that it keeps pushing it forward. or something, or gravity. I forget, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, the way
like
he
positive, like a positive and a positive against each other.
Yeah,
so
something like that. And it happens constantly. So it goes incredibly fast in one direction, can change immediately because it's not actually pushing any kind of juice out. It's just messing with magnetism or something.
The way he talked, recreating the technology is not the hard part. The hard part is you would have to be able to recreate element 115 to make it work, and they only have what they have. They can't create more of it because they've tried and they can't do it. So recreating the technology would do them no good because they can't power it without element 115 and they can't create it.
He said it affects gravitational fields. Oh,
Yes,
welcome,
yeah,
Grandma
gravity.
Terry. Thank you.
Sorry, guys, I'm on my phone, so it's hard for me to like see the chat at the same time. So if
I'm on my phone, I can't see the chat either.
What's up, everybody?
If I see any questions or anything, I'll read them out loud.
Okay, cool.
All right, so element 115 or Moscovium, let me move it in front of me so I'm not like looking in my other monitor, is a man-made super heavy element that has 150 protons in its nucleus. Email Jacqueline Gates, a scientist with the Heavy Elements Group in Nuclear Science Division for Berkeley Lab in California, whom we spoke with in 2020. As with all elements on the periodic table, the element's number corresponds to the number of protons in the nucleus of the element's atom. That is 23 more protons than the heaviest element that you can find in large quantities on Earth, uranium. So it's something that's really heavy. I imagine like a rock then, like a really heavy rock.
Like it's like as far as I remember, like a black triangle, like this big.
Gates said that the element 115 is an extremely rare element that's made one atom at a time in particle accelerators. It exists for just a fraction of a second before it decays into another element. It is special because it is near a predicted island of stability where some super heavy nuclei might have much longer lifetimes. Instead of living for less than a second, they could exist for minutes, days, or even years. That is long enough that we might be able to use them for practical applications.
Okay, that just sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Well,
yeah, I have no idea what that means.
Regardless of what they say, I think that was the whole reason for the CERN particle accelerator is to try to create element 115.
It was discovered in 2003.
Be right back, guys. Hold on one second. Be right back. Sorry.
All right. It was discovered in 2003 in Dubna, Russia, at the Flerov Laboratory for Nuclear Reactions by a group of scientists led by nuclear physicist Yuri Oganessian. The element was eventually named Moscovium because Dubna is in the city of Moscow. Oh, that's cool. To make this element, the scientists accelerated ions of calcium -48, or just like a negative sign of 48, just 48 Ca, to around 10% of the speed of light, whatever this means. I have no idea, but and then bombarded americium negative sign 243 with them. Through its bombardment, they were able to successfully fuse the nuclei of 243 Am and 48 Ca atoms, says Gates. To create a super heavy element, you need to complete fusion of two lighter elements, she noted. This process produced 4 atoms of Moscovium. So how would this guy have this then? If they only have like a little bit, how would he have this 115? This element 115.
Well, I don't know how he would have it, but the FBI is convinced that he took some of it when he worked there. That's why he said that's why they keep raiding him. That's what they're looking for.
So if they had like a whole spaceship crash in Area 51, they would have a lot of this element, wouldn't they? Like,
well,
this new
supposedly they have different kinds of ships. So if they have different kinds of ships and they're from different species or different planets or whatever, maybe they all don't run off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe only the one he was working on ran off of that.
Maybe.
Because I think he did say that they had several ships and they weren't all the same. There were different types. All
right, so here's element 115 and the alien connection. Element 115 was only discovered in 2003, but it may sound familiar because the name has been around for decades in connection with the UFOs, aliens, and other related phenomena. We're referring to the long-lived story of Robert Scott Lazar, who in 1989 went public with what he said was top-secret information about Element 115. Lazar claimed to be a former employee at Area 51, the famous and highly classified area of the Nevada Test and Training Range operated at the United States Air Force, where his job was to reverse engineer crashed alien flying saucers. He said that he previously worked with Element 115, which was used to pilot alien spacecraft. It is impossible to synthesize an element that heavy here on Earth. The substance has to come from a place where super heavy elements could have been produced naturally. Lazar said he's seen evidence of anti-gravity propulsion technologies and 9 alien spacecraft stored in a hangar at Area 51. Those spaceships ostensibly use some sort of propulsion system that harness the inherent power of gravity and thus utilize the characteristics of Element 115 to work their technological wizardry.
So if you think about on the gravity part, I mean, we typically think of gravity as a force that pulls something. So like if you drop a brick off a roof, it's going to go down because of gravity. But the way he's talking about them using gravity as if you would think of, say, a fighter jet. So you have the rocket and the thrust comes out the back, and that's what pushes the jet. Well, they're basically using gravity in the same way. Instead of using gravity as an attraction, they're using gravity as a force to push the ship. So it would kind of be the opposite of what we typically think when we think of gravity, but that's what it is.
Gotcha. See, I'm telling you, Newton and all this stupid annoying laws are all lies. Well, maybe, I mean, it could
No,
be.
Newton.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. Go
Nah,
ahead.
Newton. It's a work in progress. It's like Newton made huge breakthroughs, but of course everything wasn't perfect, and Einstein expanded on that, and so forth and so on. Nobody was 100% right about anything. The interesting thing, I just wanted to say this, I just thought of this the other day. Einstein said anyone who studies science long enough will eventually come to the conclusion that there is a God, a higher power running this shit. I don't want to get all religious and stuff, but we were talking about it, so I thought about that.
Okay, so here's the way I tend to think of this. Okay, so the farther away you go, say with the James Webb Telescope, the farther away they look at other galaxies, it's they say it's like looking back in time because the light from those galaxies is millions of years old. So it's like looking back in time. So those galaxies are way, way older than us. So if there's life in those galaxies, most likely that life has been there for way longer than we have. Okay, so
already.
Or would have, or it was there so long ago it expired already. But if you think of it in the terms, think of what people in medieval times would think if they saw a fighter jet or a car or a semi. It's the same thing to us. Just because we haven't thought of it yet or we can't comprehend it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It could be way older than us. We're not, in the grand scheme of time and the age of the universe, we're infants. So just because we don't comprehend it or we haven't thought of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just like people in medieval times, they hadn't thought of cars or jets, but look at us now. We have them, and if they saw them, they wouldn't know what to think about it.
I think Antarctica holds way more than we know too. I feel like they got all kind like I don't know. I feel like there's something on Antarctica that nobody knows about. That's some like
There's so much in Antarctica that's. I mean, the Nazis were there. Like, there's more than. I don't believe in the flat Earth crap, but I do think that there is definitely some weird things going on there.
Yeah.
But I did want to say, you guys were saying earlier about what the Large Hadron Collider, is that what we were talking about?
Yeah, CERN.
Yeah. So the most interesting thing that came out of that was when they got that award for like the most scientific breakthrough in ever is for they discovered the God particle, which is a force that they didn't know existed, like gravity or magnetism, and it's affecting everything. And so I guess I don't know why they called it the God particle. I guess it's because like that's a force that they don't know, so it affects things differently. But yeah, that was the biggest thing ever. I mean, that's one of our biggest steps to being able to manipulate gravity is learning about the God particle.
Yep.
What's the God particle? Like the thing that started
It's
creation or whatever? Like, is that
sort
what?
of. What they did with the Large Hadron Collider was they reenacted the original Big Bang. So they did that by smashing protons together. And when they did this, they watched the different particles come out, and they could figure out the exact particles that were there at the start of the universe. And they noticed that these particles moved not according to the forces of nature as we know it. And they eventually noticed that there's something else affecting it. It's just such a small amount that we couldn't see it until then. And it's kind of like the way they describe it is it's kind of like if you took like a ping pong ball and rolled it through like a paper plate with sand, like it would move smooth. It would go across it, right? But if you tried to take that ping pong ball and go through that sand, it wouldn't go anywhere. That's what they describe it as.
Oh, wow. Nate said, I feel like I'm way too stoned for this conversation, but it's.
You want to know what's funny? Wait, you're stoned?
No, I was reading a comment from chat.
So okay. I was like, wait a minute, what did I miss? I'm coming over.
We were talking. He said something about DMT earlier. Someone said in chat, DMT is the God molecule.
Well, I've always wanted to try DMT, but I don't know anybody who can get it. So holler at me.
So I'm going to.
I would be scared to death. I don't think I could do DMT.
Man, the first drug I tried was acid. I tried acid before I tried weed.
I tried acid, and acid wasn't scary to me. It was just like,
well, then if acid's not scary to you, you shouldn't be scared of anything. I'm sorry.
I didn't really like hallucinate though. Besides, like I just saw like all right, say if I like looked, like for instance, your counter. You know how like your counter has all those little like lines and stuff through it. To me, the only thing that I really saw was like the lines lift off the counter.
Yeah, you just didn't take that much.
Yeah, and actually, the first time I did acid, my friend's mom locked me in a dog cage. And
wait, when did we switch to Pornhub, yo?
What is this?
What is
this? I swear she knew.
Caitlin, you didn't tell me about any of this, okay? I need to know as your big cousin.
I'll explain the story. I came home back.
I'll explain the story. You fucking better.
After a late night, and I think she was drunk. And she kept just giving me shots, and I didn't want them because they tasted like maple syrup, and I didn't want to take shots of maple syrup tasting shots, but she just kept giving them to me. And then
while you had taken acid?
Yeah. And then she was like,
That's
You're
not
so
smart.
small. You can probably fit in whatever
Lord.
the dog's name was, dog cage.
Oh my
She's like,
God.
Get in there and see if you can fit. I swear she knew that. So,
wait,
like,
was she on acid? Yeah, I was gonna say, was she
no,
on acid?
but I think she was like messing with me, like she knew that we were on something, and she was like, Get in there, let me see if you can fit. Then she locked me in, and she said she got the idea because she was watching like Jerry Springer or something that day, and the guy was like a submissive, or the guy was a dominatrix and the girl's submissive, and she thought, and she had the
this
guy
sounds like something on Pornhub. Kate, we got young viewers here. Damn.
I know, but it wasn't anything like that. It was just her messing with me. When she was like, it made me think of that because I was like, oh, I bet Kate, she's small. She could probably fit in the dog cage.
That makes complete sense. Sure.
I was horrified. I was like, what?
How long did she keep you in there?
Like a couple, like a minute or two. I don't know.
Sure, you were horrified. That's like a bad acid nightmare.
It didn't freak me out that bad, but I got worried that it would. But yeah, I didn't. I
would have needed therapy after that.
I swear to God, I was like, is this freaking real or like, am I tripping right now? Like, is she really?
I got a couple stories like that. Yeah. Yeah, my friend, first time I was tripping, my friend Kevin was like, he tripping me. He's like, and we were tripping so hard, like more than I've ever tripped in my life. And And he's like, dude, you got to call your mom and get me sleep over. And I had already covered my bases. Like I had already sleeping at Jim's house, but it's my best friend. And he's like, please. And I'm like, fine. So, I mean, I'm tripping. I'm like, my friend turned into Chuck E. Cheese. My other friend grew devil horns. I mean, really, like I was balls tripping. So I call my mom and I say, and she's like, hello. And I'm like, hi, can Kevin sleep over? And she's like, Jesse, I can't talk. Your uncle's in the mob and he's being chased for cocaine. I gotta go, and hangs up on me. And I'm like, did I just hear that? Like just like what you said. Like I didn't know if I was making it up, but I'm not. I'm not calling back.
Is this real? Yeah.
Yeah. So I go out. This is such a crazy, funny story too. I can't believe I'm telling this on a live. Oh my god. But so Kevin, shout out to Kevin Marr, you big baby. So Kevin is outside. And he's like, and so I go outside and he's like, what did your mom say? And I'm like, dude, she said my uncle's in the mob. He's being chased for cocaine. And he's like, what? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. He's like, wait, look, I'm going to be you and you be your mom and we'll go through this. I'm like, all right. So he's like, 957-9912. Hey, hi, mom, can Kevin sleep over? And I'm like, no, your uncle's in the mob. He's being chased for cocaine. And he's like, but mom, what do you mean? I don't understand. And I'm like, Kevin, I didn't say that. I'm like, we're not doing this because I didn't say that. And so I'm like, you're an idiot. And I walk away and I'm doing some other shit. And don't you know, I come back like 10, 15 minutes later and he's still talking to my mom on his hand. I swear on his hand. Oh yeah, Connie, he's telling her all his problems. And I'm like, bro. And I grab his hand and I throw it down. And he looks at me and goes, dude, you just hung up on your mom. And he goes, 957-9912. Hi, Connie. Yes, it's Kevin. Jesse hung up on you. And I'm like, bro. And I walked away. And that's when I like called my ex-girlfriend. I'm like, you got to come up here. I don't know what's going on.
So has anyone ever seen a UFO?
Yes, I have.
I think I saw one too. All right, listen to this, sir. I was walking one day. It was a nice summer day. And I was like, I'm going to walk to Wawa. It's a little like, convenience store we have around the corner. And as I'm walking, I see this like triangle shape thing. And it went, and my friend was with me, so I know I'm not crazy. But it went from red to orange to yellow to green but like so smoothly. It went through every color of the rainbow and then just disappeared. Like in thin air.
Okay, well, I mean, that could have been numerous things. No offense, Kate, but you got to like eliminate all
I guess it could have been like a drone, but it was up.
It could have been a weather balloon. Like one time I saw this.
It was like a rainbow though, and it was a weird shape.
It could have been a reflective balloon.
Maybe. But no, but it was like, all right, did you ever see those like lights that you get, like those disco lights or whatever, and they go like from like red to blue? It was like doing that. But it was like
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just, I got to be skeptical. See, that's the thing about doing acid when I was young. It taught me to be very like, you got to question everything you see and hear, and you could be thinking weird. And so it's the truth. It's weird that this is all coming up in conversation, but that's actually where I get my analytical mindset from. Just weird.
I saw something one time that I'm convinced had to be a UFO because I don't know what else it could have been. But at the time, I was in, middle school, and I was living in Kentucky with my dad. And we lived 5 miles. There was 2 towns, one to the north, one to the south. They were both 5 miles away, and we lived in the middle of nowhere. So I rode my bike to the school to a basketball game, and I was riding home, and it was dark. And so you have to picture the road in order to understand why it couldn't have been a car or something. But so there's a hill that goes down. It's pretty steep. And then there's an S curve, a sharp one. And then it goes back uphill, pretty steep. And then once you get to the top of that hill, it's a flat road. Now, between the 2 hills in the middle of the S curve, there's a road that goes off to the left, but not, it's kind of not a straight 90. It's kind of more than a 90. You're turning more than a 90, and then you're going up a different hill in a different direction. So I'm past the two hills. I'm on the flat part, quite a ways down the road, and I see a light come up the top of the hill behind me. And so I get over to the side of the road, and then I see lights sweep across the field, like as if a car was turning with the lights on. You would see the beams from the lights sweeping across the field. The only problem with that is at the point that I would have seen the lights, they were past the place they could have turned. There's nowhere else to turn. And it was a flat field. It was basically a cow pasture with barbed wire around it. So if somebody was, say, drunk or whatever and went off the road, I would have seen their car in the middle of this flat field. Like literally, I saw a light behind me. It was bright. I saw the light off of the light, it was really bright. So I thought it was a car coming with their brights on. And then I saw the lights sweep across the field, and I was like, where would they have turned? So I stopped and turned around and looked, and there was nothing there.
That's
And
weird.
like I said, at the point for them to be to the point where I saw the lights, they would have already been past where they could have turned. And there's nowhere else to turn on that road. So what was
Grandma Sherry said she was listening to a Twitter Spaces earlier, and they said the Pentagon has had more UFO reports just this year than they typically receive every year.
They just did a whole presentation about UFOs. I mean, they just put it all out there, and I don't know why
They
it didn't get.
released all the files or whatever, like the
Yeah.
UFO files they had.
So I'm
So-
going to give you an analogy. I'm going to give you an analogy that seems like it has nothing to do with this, just because this is the way my brain works. It's kind of weird. But okay, so they say that if you were to put a frog, throw a frog on a hot pan, it's going to jump off. But if you put a frog on a pan, warm it up slowly, it's going to sit there because you get used to it as the heat gets hotter. We've all heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, so people tend to only pay attention to what's going on in the moment, especially people as a whole and not an individual person. But if you think back at what's happened, say, over the past 5 to 10 years, you have where the Navy released these videos, and then you've had the government say that they're looking into it and they're going to take pilots' reports and stuff serious and this and that. Now you've had NASA come out and saying that they're going to start investigating the UFO thing. But this stuff is spread out over a year apart from each other, a couple of years apart from each other. And like I said, people only tend to pay attention to what's going on in the moment. So with COVID and all the riots we had and everything else, there's been so much stuff to pay attention to that when these little trickles come out a couple years apart, you seem not to tie it together because you're not really paying attention to that. You're paying attention to all the other stuff going on. But if you look at all those things and you tie all those things together, it's almost like the government is building up to something, but they're doing it slowly.
Yeah, they're building up to using it as a a false flag to control people.
Or
I'm not saying there's not aliens. I'm saying that the government's going to use the alien card anytime they want. They've been developing it for years.
Or they're just going to come out and tell everybody that everything they've been denying since the 50s or 40s is all true.
Why? They never give away power they don't need to. Why would they possibly do that?
Yeah.
Maybe they know something's coming that we don't.
Man, no, that's just what they want you to think.
So you think it's all it's like faked by the government?
I think that if any aliens come here, they're going to be so much more advanced that they know that murder for no reason is silly. We're just so, as you said, infantile in our existence that we're like 3-year-olds. So we can't fathom somebody coming here and not wanting to take our shit. We might lose our toys in the sandbox. Oh my god.
Maybe they're not coming. Maybe they're already here. Maybe they've been here ever since Roswell, and we just don't know it.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean,
what do you think?
that's
What do you think about like the corn thing? The what's it called? The
corn
damn
circles.
corn circles. Yeah.
Well,
Crop
there were people doing those as pranks. I don't know if the other ones were real.
But
I
some of
mean,
them are like so done so like well.
yeah. Well, but I mean, if you want to talk about that, let's talk about the pyramids. Like, you
Oh
want to talk
yeah, the pyramids
like-
too. The pyramids is crazy. Like the space between the pyramids is like the exact same measurement. You can't even fit like slide a piece of paper in between the bricks. It's so perfect. Like
no,
can't-
we couldn't build it today, basically.
no, yeah, no way.
Why won't they tell anybody what's inside the Sphinx?
That's got to do with biblical stuff, like Solomon's tomb and all that.
Yeah, but they already know the Sphinx is way older than they've always said it is.
Yeah, it's way older than the pyramids. Yeah,
The Sphinx is way older.
way older, like by like 4,000 years, and they try to act like it's not.
Because there's erosion of the at the base of it that could have only been done by water.
Exactly.
And the last time there was enough water in that area to do that kind of erosion, it would have to be way older than they've said it is. Like extremely way older.
Exactly.
What's the Itasca lines? Is that the
what?
The Itasca lines?
Well, wait. I've been wanting to say this for a minute. So, do you guys think we really went to the moon?
No, I don't. I think it was like they did it like a movie. Like they had a movie set.
Well, no. Here's what
I think now at this point we've been there, but I think the first trip to the moon was bullcrap.
You think we've been there? Why would you think we've been there?
I think at this point we've been.
Why would you think that? They haven't gone back since then, and they make excuses to not go back.
How do they get? Well, how do you get satellites? Don't we have space stations?
Sweetie, satellites aren't people.
I know, but
so we can send robots to the moon. That's no problem. We can send robots to Mars. Yeah. You can't send people through the
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like I meant like, sending stuff up there. Like we've been able to send stuff up there, but like.
Yeah, but not people.
I think the original moon landing is fake. Like I think that whole thing was. I don't think people actually went to the moon. I think it was like totally staged.
Okay, so I watched a video on YouTube that was put out by the son of a guy that worked on this base back when this happened. Mm-hmm. And I wish I had saved it in my YouTube videos because I could go back to it, but I didn't. And his dad worked on the base, and there was his dad told him that was all filmed in a hangar on a military base.
It was,
and they trucked everything in, like all the rocks and all the stuff,
they did.
Like concrete powder and stuff that they used to make that. And the reason they were able to hide what they were doing was because there was a huge construction project going on at the base at the time. So when they were bringing all this in, it was logged as if it was building materials for the project that was going on at the time. And there was only like 5 people that actually knew what was going on, one of them being the president, and then I think the director of NASA, and there was like 3 other people that actually knew what was going on. But his dad worked on the base, and he told him all this, over time as he was growing up. He put out a whole video about it on YouTube, but like I said, I can't remember what the guy's name was or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think it looked fake, and then.
Kate, why aren't you on video here?
Who, me?
I'm doing my diamond painting, so I turned it off.
I'm like, you guys left me here all alone, man.
I'm usually never on video when I'm on Kate's live because my wife's laying. I'm sitting.
It's in our painting.
Bedroom. My wife's laying.
It's a diamond painting.
What's a diamond painting?
They're like little itty bitty diamonds that you glue on. Like it's a sticky paper.
No way. That's neat.
You get a photo and you send it in, and they make a diamond painting out of it.
Neat.
I mean, it might have been real. I just don't think it just didn't seem.
No,
like
it wasn't real. I mean,
it didn't
look.
seem real to me.
It's not real. Like, if you actually watch this stuff and you're still thinking that it was real, like, there's a screw
See you,
loose.
Chloe Joe.
I'm sorry, but like, there's just so much. I mean, it was what's his name that directed it? Spielberg. He's the one who did it, and it was done through the CIA, and they worked with MK Ultra and Disney, and it's completely absent. Did you ever watch? You just got to watch the YouTube. The guy who goes up to like Buzz Aldrin and asks him to swear on a Bible that they went. Dude, they freak out. Buzz Aldrin took a swing at him. It's great to watch those.
Well, stop and think about it.
I would probably take a swing at somebody if
If you
coming
went to
and bother me,
whatever, bro. Kate, you're the dude who went to the moon. You're that guy, and some guy's like, you didn't go, and you're actually gonna be like, take it seriously? No, get out of here.
Okay, stop and think about it this way. They said
seriously if they ran up to me and were like, "Put your hand on this Bible," and swear, I'd be like, "Get the fuck out!"
You would punch him, Kate. You would punch him.
I don't know if I'd punch him.
Exactly. We give these people excuses because we don't want to seem crazy by believing.
I'm not like a violent person. You know what I mean?
Well, Buzz Aldrin shouldn't be either.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying, like, I'm more of a like avoid conflict type person, so I probably wouldn't. But I don't know. Other people are different. But I would.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick. That's right, Stanley Kubrick. Shout out Pecan Pie coming through with the info.
Okay, so stop and think about it this way. They said the reason we stopped going and never went back was because it was too expensive. And up until the past few years, when they decided to move forward with the Artemis project and they said they were going back, they were still saying that we weren't going back because it was too expensive. But now all of a sudden we're going back to the moon because they want to go to Mars. Mars is way more expensive than the moon. So that makes their whole it's too expensive to go to the moon thing total bullshit.
Well, they dropped that line. Now they're saying it's going to take time because they have to develop the technology. And so what does everybody say to them? Well, what about the technology we used to get there the first time? They said, you know what they say? They say we threw it all out. We threw it all out. We threw it all out. We threw out the most highly advanced technological shit. We threw it out. So now it's going to take time to redevelop things we made in the 60s. How does that make sense?
We're back to using an updated version of what we used in the 60s. Think about it. We had the space shuttle.
Come on.
We had the space shuttle.
Bro.
We had the space shuttle. And what was supposed to come next?
Come on, man. Bro. Come on, bro. Look, my uncle was best friends with the guy who invented the ENIAC, the first computer. And the technology in one cell phone is more computing power than probably about 10 space shuttles then.
Okay, so we had the space shuttle and what was supposed to come next, and now we're coming back to Earth in a cone-shaped pod like we were doing before we had the space shuttle. We've just taken a huge step backwards.
It's because they were never there in the first place.
We're right back to an updated version of what we were doing before. They were never there in the
first place. It's all
and their
bullshit.
whole process of going to the moon is just an updated version of how they did it before.
They never went. That's my point.
I mean, I think they it's possible they could have went later. I just don't think at that moment they did.
Okay, you're saying this, but you haven't researched it. Like, if you learned about the radiation belt and everything, you might think differently.
I mean, I'm open to
living things can't go through this radiation belt.
What radiation belt? Like, what is it?
It's called the Van something radiation belt. They discovered it in like the 80s, and all of a sudden they were like, "Oh shit." Because they discovered this radiation belt that living things can't go through. So how would they have gotten
atmosphere
around the Earth? Yes,
around the Earth. Oh, so
here's how it works. Here's the Earth, right? Can you see me?
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the Earth. Here's the moon. I'm sorry. Here's the Earth, and every other space mission, every other country, the Chinese, the Russians, everybody, we've all stayed in orbiting. We've all stayed in this little zone. It's almost not even out of the atmosphere. It is, but I don't know. And now the moon is way the fuck up here, like way out of the realm. That's why when Kennedy was like, oh, we're going to the moon. It was like almost laughable. Like we couldn't even get a monkey. Like, I mean, you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I agree with that. I mean, like it was like they were just. Did they even have color TV then, or they were just getting color TV? Like,
Kate,
it's
let me
hard
put
for
it.
me to
Yo,
imagine
look,
that we barely
Kate.
had any of this technology, but somehow that they were able to,
Kate, they said
have.
they live streamed from the moon. That was their claim. That
I
back then
know that's what I'm saying. I
they
don't think
live
I don't
streamed
think it
from
happened
the moon.
then.
That's all I gotta say.
I
They
agree. I
supposedly
don't
live
think.
streamed, and it's cool if you listen to those recordings. You can actually hear the CIA, or I don't know, they think it's a CIA agent, but you can hear the handler telling them what to say when. There's so much they found.
And now they want to try to make cell phone calls back to Earth from the moon.
Who's gonna friggin' make the calls?
They seriously are. They're gonna try to set up a relay for cell phones on the moon, and so when we go back to the moon, they can call Earth from a cell phone.
I'm dead.
I'm not going that far, Beatlemaniac. I don't think the Earth is flat. but I could see. Look, I could see it being faked because it was a big thing between like Russia and the United States to get to the moon first, and in order to like win the space race.
Yo, people in the chat, is anybody on my side here? Can I get some people here?
Let me see.
Man, that's rough, man. I guess I'm all on my lonesome again. That's all right. I can handle it.
President Nixon was able to hear them loud and clear from the moon. No delay, no static.
Yeah.
Clear. Yeah, I agree. I think it's crazy. Like I think
cell phone antennas, if in a perfectly flat environment, like I don't know, one of those flat states, they can go like 10 miles max. Like, and in any kind of urban environment, place with trees, they're a mile max. The moon
can you imagine
is so far?
Can you imagine the size of the satellite it's going to take to relay a phone call that far?
And especially in instant timing or like, no delay. Get out of here.
This is no shit. NASA
I'm
said that.
I'm not big on conspiracies,
NASA
but
said
that
when they
is one I will consider that it's fake.
NASA said when they go back to the moon, they want to be able to make phone calls and send selfies from the moon.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Why wouldn't Russia disprove? So they said, why wouldn't Russia disprove we went to the moon?
Why? Russia doesn't care. They're controlling their own people. They don't care what Americans think.
Here's a good question for you.
Hey, Nina.
NASA plans everything, right? They have a backup plan for everything.
Supposedly,
backup
NASA's
plan
Nazis
for their backup
too.
plan, right? So when they sent the Artemis mission up,
I don't believe that.
When they sent the Artemis mission up and they did this whole thing around the moon that they just did last year, all the landing sites, like the landing site where Buzz Aldrin and them landed and all that, when they went over that area, it was all in the dark and you couldn't see any of it. But they made sure to put pinpoints on the screen of where everything is. Why didn't they plan that out better to where that stuff wasn't in the dark when they went around it? So that you could maybe actually see something. Our first trip back to the moon in how long? And they couldn't plan that better than that? No, it's because there's nothing to see. That's why they have to put a pinpoint on the map and say, here it is, but it's in the dark and you can't see it.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, just in the like, okay, so really they say like for the people, because there's all kinds of like pictures that you can see. It's at a movie set. So their answer to those people, the inside people, the Alex Jones, their answer is, we went, but the recordings didn't work. So we faked it afterwards to show everybody we went, but we really did go. But that was before they found out about the radiation belt. So
yeah. How couldn't they? We know everything they do now. They know everything we do. They had the most reason to disprove. Look at I don't know if I want to go down that road, Combine.
Okay, so here's another thing they never told everybody until just recently. You guys, if you haven't went on the NASA thing and watched any of their like live streams from the Artemis, they threw out all kinds of information now just out of nowhere. They've never told anybody. So we all think of that flag they put in the ground is still upright and all that stuff's still there. No, they said that when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin lifted off from the moon to go back up, that the force from the liftoff blew the flag over and it's laying down.
Well, that was
they never told anybody that before.
Wouldn't it just float off in the space though? Like if it blew off?
No, there's gravity on the moon.
There's some gravity up there, but not that much. So it would have to be launched up at a certain force for it to just go out in space. But they're just saying the force knocked it over out of the ground, and so now it is actually laying down on the ground and has been ever since they left the moon.
And that was another problem with their pictures that they didn't think of. And that's the thing. They really thought they were on top of their game, but like everything was so sloppy. And now that you can slow down the footage, like when we have that technology, like now, like they didn't really consider all that. So at the time, but they never, when they show them on the moon and him walking with the flag, they showed the moon lander perfectly on the moon with no dust at all. Like from it landing, it would have made a little crater and blew some stuff around. There's not even any dirt on the foot of the pad. So it's absolutely ludicrous to think those pictures are real. Now, we may have gone on the low key, but I'm not seeing it personally, but
All right, I'm going to pull up a clip of the moon landing and let's look at it.
Why don't you look up like suspicious clips or something?
Have you heard the whole thing where have you heard the whole thing where they did the seismic experiments up there and the moon rang like a bell for like a week?
No.
Yeah, it's actually legit. NASA did a.
I mean, if you really think about it, though, they could have easily did all of this with a set. I mean,
they did.
Know, like even like it really could have just been like black out a room and
It's actually legit. NASA did do seismic experiments up there because they wanted to know, as far as like density of the landing sites and stuff, and if there was caves and what the density was of the rock and all that. And so they did these seismic experiments, and supposedly there's like a whole thing on it, and there was actually a project name and everything that it's under, but the sound from the seismic experiments reverberated through the moon for like a week, which means there would have to be a lot of really huge caverns or something for it to reverberate that long.
It's so hard to see. Like I can't. It's like such crappy. I think we watch stuff in 4K now. Look at it. I mean, oh, it's like a news thing. I don't have the sound on. I'm just playing the clip. All right, this is just like, hold on. I'm trying to find just like the full clip by itself. So this is 9 years after color TV came out. Like the first color TV came out.
Which was at the World's Fair in, what is it, Brooklyn or Queens? My grandfather owned one of the first 5 color TVs in America.
Wow.
Yeah. Alfred Angelo Piccioni. Shout out Alfred Angelo. Rest in paradise.
My history on the TV is so weak. Didn't the like black and whites? Didn't they come out in like the 30s or 40s?
I don't know. I don't even know when the World's Fair was that he got it. And I think that I don't even know.
It seems like I remember hearing somewhere they came out in the 30s or 40s because I was really surprised by how long ago it actually was.
It's not. I mean, the technology's not that difficult comparatively to other things we have now. What are we watching here?
Footage from the moon.
But like, what's going on? Are we just watching it, or
I'm just looking at it.
what?
to
It
see
says
what-
hippity hoppity, dude.
I don't know.
What is this?
I don't know if the guy's saying it while he's jumping or whatever.
No, he's not. Kate, it's not. It's obviously some guy, like narrating. That's not what Buzz Aldrin was saying.
It is him saying that.
No way. Oh my God, I stand corrected. That's hilarious.
Okay, you see him. Okay, did you see the part where he was almost like where he was running, but he was almost like jumping? It reminds me of like when they're making a movie and somebody's on one of those cable things.
That's how they did it, and they sped it up, and they made it they slowed down. They made it half speed to make it look like gravity was, but it's actually if they do videos, look up the ones where they speed it up to 2 times, and it shows what they actually did. It's incredible if you look up that. Yeah, those hills in the background, you're dead right. And also they show the same set of hills. It's painted. It's a set because they have the same background with the hill, but then different things in front. They like messed up and put out. I mean, this was their first video faking something. So they messed up. They didn't, I mean, I guess they knew probably 50 years later would be analyzing, but maybe they didn't care. I don't know. Wait, you really think it's harder to fake go in the moon than to actually go there? I'm sorry, but like, talk to a physicist about that. Yeah, Kate, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't either.
Sorry. I muted. And I didn't realize I was muted. I was saying that it wouldn't be hard to fake going in the moon. I mean,
Thank you.
like it wouldn't be hard to film pretend being on the moon.
Kate, they didn't even do it good. They didn't even do a good job. If you actually look at the stuff, they in the one scene you can see a light hanging, and the other one you see the cables on the person. I mean, I want just one person here to like know what I'm talking about, but that's all right. I'll be that guy on Joe Rogan. What's his friend, the crazy friend who always talks about aliens? That'll be me.
I don't know his name.
Eddie something.
So if you put all the moon stuff and all the alien stuff and everything aside, and just break it down to one simple thing that everybody on this planet knows about, depending on how old they are. I'm 47 years old. I was born in 75. Look at the time that it took from us to go to the beginning of TV, which was black and white, to color. Look at the advancement in audio where we went from phonograph, records, 8-track, then cassettes. Okay, that was over relatively long periods of time. Now, look at the 80s to now. We went from 8-track tapes and boom boxes to everybody has a computer in their pocket. Look at the technological explosion.
But we can't go now. That
we went through in about the same amount of time it took to go from black and white TV to color and from phonograph to cassette tapes. How does that happen? Where does that come from? It's not just because we're super smart. I mean, there are some super smart people on this planet, obviously, but that kind of explosion doesn't just happen out of nowhere.
So what are you saying? That aliens gave us the technology?
Or or what Bob Lazar say? A lot of it was reverse engineered from UFOs.
Well, that's what that's what I meant. I said it wrong. Sorry.
Oh, like it was already like
Like
it
microwaves.
was
They
already
say that
stuff
microwaves came from aliens. Like,
yeah, like the super small computer
Yeah.
chips and all. And
we've supposedly been working with them for a long time.
I mean, I could see it. I mean, maybe that.
And it's crazy they still won't give us the technology to go to the moon. They know they don't want us in the universe. They know we're bad news.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So when I was in 5th grade, okay, I'll go back a little bit further than that. So in 80, I started kindergarten. So you're looking at 80, 81, 82. We had Atari. In what, 95, 96, we had the internet.
No,
I mean, come on now.
kind of. That's when it was invented, but
Well, I mean, dial up.
yeah, but nobody really used it until like I graduated in 99. So like we didn't use instant messenger or anything. Like that was like, I feel like that was the break. Like, cause after me, like my sister was a couple years younger and she had instant messenger in high school and YouTube. Like, I feel like that was the difference in millennials. Everybody says I'm a millennial, but I was always told I'm Generation X. So,
Well, I mean, I graduated in 94, and within like 2 or 3 years after I graduated, my mom had a computer with dial up.
well, you were lucky.
So you're
like
looking
only
at,
like really rich people around where I was from had it then.
so you're looking at let's say you just round it to 95. That may not be the exact correct year, but let's just round it 95. We had Atari in 1980. 15 years later, we have the internet. Come on now. That came from somewhere. 15 years. I mean, I'm just saying, it came from somewhere. And I don't think anybody pulled it out of their back pocket.
Well, Tesla. I mean,
okay, but that guy's probably the smartest man on the planet. I mean,
yeah, but
literally.
he's the one who came out with radio frequencies and everything. Like, and they stole all his stuff, and that's where a lot of the technology came from, man.
I mean, I don't care what anybody says about him, and I know there's some really smart people out there, but he has got to be the smartest living person on this planet right now.
You know who? Tesla's dead, bro.
No, not Tesla. You said Tesla, and I was thinking cars.
Elon Musk.
Yes, that guy has got to be like the most brilliant.
He's actually,
planet that's alive.
You can actually look up the smartest people, like in terms of IQ. Like Einstein was like, I think 200. But he's the highest tested IQ ever in history. But
maybe Elon.
No. I'm actually wrong. It wasn't the highest IQ tested in history. There's people alive right now. Like the guy who has the highest IQ, the smartest guy in the world, is a bouncer at a strip club in Texas, and there's documentaries on him. That's real talk.
I don't know, and I'm not even talking about the business part of it, but
I mean, he's a bouncer, bro. He's not good at business.
No, I'm talking about with Elon
Okay.
Musk. I'm not talking about the business and the money part of it. I'm just talking about that guy is one brilliant motherfucker. Sorry, MFer.
He's the one who came up. You know what his first business was? PayPal.
Yeah, and he sold it.
Yeah, but he was the one who first said the internet needs a way to exchange money. Like, yeah, he's what they call a futurist. He can see the future.
SpaceX was because back then NASA and the government was still saying, we can't go back to the moon. It's too expensive. It costs this much money. And he's like, really? Hold my beer. I can do it cheaper.
Damn right. Damn right. I love it, man. He's I don't know what he is, man, but I'm happy he's around.
You hear that line all the time, but really, that's pretty much what he did. He's like, really? Hold my beer. I'll show you. I can do it cheaper than you can.
That's great, man. It's like that movie. Remember that movie with I hated the ending, but they build this weird thing, and Jodie Foster goes to the other place and meets her dad. The aliens talk to her as her dad. You remember that? Anybody?
I do. I'm trying to think of the name. I think I have it on DVD.
Yeah. So the government does this thing, and it blows up, and then the billionaire comes in. He's like, "Yeah, I built one on the other side of the world. You can use mine." Oh, he like dropped the mic on him.
Someone said Elon's a spoiled trust fund brat.
That's just hater talk.
I mean, I don't know any. Like, I don't really think he's like. I'm not like, oh my god, Elon Musk. Like, I don't think he's like.
I'm not even talking about the money part or the rich part. I mean, Tesla cars, he willed that into existence. That came from him. SpaceX, he willed that into existence. That came from him. He is
He's
one
a
brilliant SOB. I don't
and
care
a
about
and
the
a
money.
yeah, powerful. Like talk about like I want to do something and doing it. Like who says I want to go? I want to go to space myself. Like who even? Like that's what's respectful about him. He not only dreams big, he actually does it. And
I'm going to commercialize space travel. Watch me do it.
Yeah,
and he
like,
does it.
Kiss my ass. I'm not asking permission.
I mean,
That's some
yeah,
baller shit,
it,
yo. That's some baller shit.
And
Well,
yeah,
let's
it
see
may
what
not
follows
exactly
through.
it may not exactly been him, but hell, William Shatner went to space, and he's the first person to go that didn't belong to NASA. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I don't know. I just think he's like weird and wants to be like
Well,
an alien.
wouldn't you be weird? I mean, if I was a billionaire, I would definitely be weird. Like, look at Kanye, bro.
Are you kidding me? Kanye is a whole mess. I can't stand that guy.
I don't know many billionaires. Do you know any non-weird billionaires? No.
Elon's been saying we need to go to Mars. We need to go to Mars. We need to put people on Mars. We need to live on Mars. An asteroid is going to hit the Earth and everybody's going to die. But if we live on more than one planet, we might survive. And NASA's been saying we'll never be able to go to Mars. We'll never be able to go to Mars. Now NASA says they're going to put a space station on the moon. And the reason they're going to do it is so that we can go to Mars.
And do you want to know why they're saying that? Because all of a sudden they have to look like they're keeping up with shit. But really,
they're saying that because Elon's about to say, hold my beer and I'm going to show you how to go to Mars.
Exactly. But then they're going to see that this has just been a money laundering scheme the whole time with NASA.
So apparently he all right. So there's some guy, Martin Eberhard, there's allegations that Musk stole Tesla from one of the company's original founders, Martin Eberhard.
Wait, what are you saying?
That Elon Musk stole Tesla from one of the company's original founders, Martin Eberhard.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
I've never heard of that guy.
Musk's original investment into the startup and Eberhard's exit as CEO, Musk said when Eberhard was fired from Tesla's CEO role in mid-2007 for providing false information to me and the board, no one left with him. That says it all.
Sorry.
So I guess, let me see. Eberhard and Tarpening incorporated Tesla in 2003. Musk invested $6.5 million soon after, then joined the company.
That's all he invested? Holy crap.
Leading Musk and Eberhard to disagree about whether Musk was truly a co-founder of the company. In 2007, Eberhard abruptly left Tesla and Musk became CEO in 2008, though the details exactly of what happened are still up for debate.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Okay, but that guy's been gone for how long?
His idea, though. He came in as an investor, so he didn't.
Yeah, it was. You know what? Did you ever see that movie with Larry David? That's what this is. He was one of. Do you know that story?
Hey, Matt.
Somebody help me on the chat. The movie with Larry David where he was a developer in a car and he left the company and told them to go screw themselves. And later on, he's like the biggest idiot in the world, and everybody knows him as the biggest idiot in the world. Now, you guys, I don't know. It was a great movie.
Are you talking like Larry David from like the Seinfeld?
Yeah, man. Damn. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David?
I only know his show. I don't know a movie.
Yeah, he did a movie where he did. I mean, they didn't say it was the story of Tesla, but
I mean that just shows it might not have been his idea. He just invested in it, and now everyone.
Yeah, but if the other dude was like, well, I don't want, like, you gotta understand, man. People I work with artists all the time.
But I feel like people are like Elon's a genius. He created the Tesla, but he just came in as an investor. Like
he never said that. He never said he created. He doesn't even say he created PayPal. He doesn't tell people what he did.
Act like he did, and that he's
That's because they're haters.
No,
That's in my opinion.
I'm just
Here
saying
is-
people who are on his side. I don't care either way. I don't really like.
That's what I'm saying.
Here
research
is
it.
my most basic, simplest reason to like Elon Musk, and I'm going to get roasted after I say this. But
Yeah,
I
right.
really
This is going to be a
don't care.
roast fest. I'm ready for it.
My basic, most simplest reason to like Elon Musk is Joe Biden can't stand him.
There you go.
Oh, I don't want to get any politics on here at all. Nobody talk politics on here.
Yeah, you got to talk to my fiance for that, man. Check out Christy Heller 420 on TikTok.
Go over there and talk politics. Not here.
Yeah. Go to her and
I
talk
don't
that
wanna
shit.
get-
She
no
loves
political
arguing too. Like if you don't like Trump, go call her a bitch. Yeah, she'll get at you real good.
Politics give me a headache, but I know
Yeah,
who
right,
I like
me
and don't
too.
like. So.
I hate talking about politics.
It's
'cause
not real.
it
To me,
never.
it's just a circus. It's not real.
Yeah. It never goes in the right direction.
Right? And nobody want. Yeah, let's not
I'm
even.
just
Let's
saying
just dead it. Let's
that
just dead the
Elon
whole
might not be
combo.
as amazing as everyone makes him out to be, but I don't really care either way.
I don't. Yeah.
I think my dad always said it best. If they're not a crook when they go in, they are when they come out, and that's the end of it.
Look, from personal experience for being in the music industry, I've learned that people will say, as soon as you get famous, everybody's going to say anything to hate. Like I met Ice-T and Coco, and they were the most down-to-earth people I've ever hung out with.
I think they're down. I think they
So
come off
like
as
now
down
look,
to
hold
earth,
on,
though.
Kate, hold on, Kate. Hold on. Sorry, but hold on. So see, you totally lost my oh, so like until I meet Elon and I hang out with Elon when the camera's on, I don't know what kind of person he is. Like I saw him on a podcast with some young kids smoking blunts and they were asking him all kinds of crazy questions and he was just cool as a fan. Like I looked at it like, yo, I could definitely hang out with this dude. So I'm not gonna listen to what other people say.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's like Ryan Upchurch. A lot of people on YouTube can't stand him. I have no problem with him. I think he's pretty cool. He's down to earth and he tells it like he sees it.
I don't even know who that is.
Me and Kate.
I'm in the middle of that one too. Like
me and Kate spent like 3 or 4 hours in a private live stream with him one night. So there wasn't like there were millions of people watching. There was like 4 or 5 of us in there. And
why don't you guys tell the viewers out there who don't know who he is?
He's they all know who he is because
I don't. Damn.
He's a country rapper.
Okay, thank you, country rapper.
He was nice. I mean, he was nice having a private conversation with him. I mean, I don't like how he handled some of that particular case.
Why don't you turn on the TV or something? Sorry.
I mean, I'm not saying he's right about everything. I'm just saying he's a cool dude and he's down to earth and he calls it like he sees it. And the night me and Kate was in that private StreamYard with him, there was only 4 or 5 of us in there and nobody else could see him but us. And it was a cool conversation the whole night. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I just don't I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he said, but he was, nice in person. I'm gonna give him. But I mean, I don't know him well or anything.
Oh, sorry, guys.
So they're saying on Discovery, like the actual Discovery Network, it's like it's the Discovery Network, but like a little outsourced like YouTube version of it. That in one of the moon landings, I don't know if the Apollo 12 mission, that in the helmet there's a reflection of something that doesn't belong there.
Yeah, it's
there is.
What is it? I think it's like a light stand or a light on a one of those stands. I think a hanging light.
Wait, hold on. Let me look up.
I think it's a hanging light.
Movie. It looks like one of those lights that has like these kind of. Hold on.
Yeah, it's a hanging light in the studio.
It looks like one of these.
Yeah,
but like round.
But hanging.
Yeah, it looks like it might have a stick on it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's got it on the one shot. They have the truss. They show the truss.
Any of the alien wreckage pecan? So There's something circulating on Twitter. I'll show you. Hold on. But I don't know if it's real or not. But I think Nerdy posted it. But he posts so much, it's going to take me like a long time to get there. I mean, we don't know it's original and not altered. I don't know. But
they have all the originals broadcast to the whole world. They have all the original. Like, it's not hard to get original and find this stuff. Like,
but I mean,
that's what I mean.
Like if the Discovery Network
hold on,
playing
Kate.
it, they have the original. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, like look it up on the Discovery Network, the original footage. You'll see all this stuff. It's not hard to find, but like before you guys just doubt it and shoot it down, why don't you just look it up yourselves for a second?
There's also an audio clip out there of them calling NASA and telling them that something about seeing a light or something, and then it cuts off, and they went to the NASA private channel.
Yeah.
So this is an image.
That's where you hear. That's where you hear the CIA agent telling them what to say, in that one.
So this is an image. I don't know if this is real or not, but it says an image of an object that was allegedly shot down in Russia airspace a few days ago. The object didn't have visible propulsion system if the videos being shared are real. But the one that was shot down in Alaska, I don't think they have anything for that.
And that's the crazy part. They have satellites everywhere. They're watching everything. Like, they could easily show satellite footage to say it wasn't there.
Have any of you ever heard of or watched the show Cooper's Treasure?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the guy that was doing that show that was looking for treasure, his dad was friends with an astronaut, and the guy, I don't remember the astronaut's name, but he did like so many orbits around the moon, and one of the experiments he was doing was like seeing if they could pinpoint different things like underwater and this and that. And I think it was kind of, they were trying to see if they could see where other people's like nuclear silos were or whatever. But at any rate, this guy, he made a map, the astronaut made a map of all these underwater anomalies that were like metal hits. And it basically ended up being like a map for all these sunken ships. And they did 2 seasons of the show. The first season, he was in the Bahamas, and they found some cannons, and they pulled up an anchor. Well,
wait, this was like an actual, like this was.
Yeah,
this
it was an
like
actual.
okay.
It was an actual show. You can look. It's
no, but
TV.
I mean, like, it's not fiction. It was like a documentary.
Yeah, it's real. I mean,
Okay.
they give you the astronaut's name and everything. And then so they did 1 season, and he pulled up some cannons and an anchor in the Bahamas, and then the police come up in a boat and tell them they have to put it back. Well, then they did a 2nd season, and he went somewhere else, and he had a bunch of investors, and he did find gold. And in that 2nd season, he alluded to that he had found in his treasure hunting searches, one of the anomalies on that map ended up being something that they found underwater that was not of this world. And then after the 2nd season went off, there's never been a 3rd season, and I've not heard another word about this guy. It's just like they were all over him. He even went to NASA and questioned him about the map, and they set up an interview with him and one of the guys that worked at NASA, and he was asking him questions about, the mission and, this and that. And then he asked him if it had anything to do with nuclear programs, and the guy basically cut off the interview. So after that 2nd season, to where he alluded that he found something underwater that was not of this world, it was just like when that season went off, he vanished. And there was supposed to be a 3rd season, but for whatever reason, it wasn't Discovery that cut it off. It was just, I don't know. I don't know what happened. The whole thing evaporated out of nowhere.
You know how we are about receipts, Pecan. We definitely need receipts, or it didn't happen. I need
Yeah,
to see a
Joe.
picture of
Seriously,
this
they
thing.
spent like $200 on a hammer in NASA.
Oh no, what?
I think you guys were talking about NASA and needing receipts from them. My bad.
Oh no, we're saying receipts from the thing they shot down. Like, we want to see the pictures of it.
Oh, the guy's name that was looking for the treasure, his name was Daryl Miklos.
How do you spell it?
I think it's Darryll. His last name is Miclos.
Treasure hunter claims he found an alien spaceship while exploring ancient shipwrecks. That's a spaceship?
I don't know if that is. I don't know if they ever showed a picture of it.
The career says, I'm just going to read it. Here's a picture of it. Darryll Miklos uses secret maps created by his ex-NASA astronaut pal Gordon Cooper to unearth shipwrecks. I mean, that just looks like rocks to me. I don't.
What you know? What you need to look up if you want to look up some alien stuff. It was over. Oh God, it was a city in Europe. I don't know. It was France or Egypt. I think it was. I can't remember. But there's this spaceship and it flies down right on. I wish. Damn! I wish I knew this was coming. I would have grabbed some clips. But my bad. But yeah, that one was amazing. That clip looks really, really, really real. There was actually in I think it was like the 90s or 80s, and I'm sure you guys have heard of this. There was all these lights over LA, and the army shot at them, and they still can't explain what that was. And everybody saw them, like there were, all the alarms were National Guard, whatever was going off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I said like you can look up the pictures of that, and that's real. Like everybody in LA saw it. It was called like the event was called like Lights Over LA, or I forget what. That's what I'm saying. I'll bring some
I
clips
don't
next
know
time.
what. I mean, I don't see anything but like coral here. Like I don't know what this guy. It looks.
Oh man.
Look, it says mysterious objects lie in the seabed. It is a scene of countless strange disappearance of planes and ships. So I mean, I guess.
Kate, my bad. I'll be right back. I got my phone's gonna die. I'm gonna like switch to something else.
Well, but anything that's been underwater for a long time is going to be covered with coral, no matter what it is. Just like when they pull up anchors and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm
cannons.
just saying, like, it looks like it could just be growing that way, though. Like, I don't. How does he know that's like something under it?
Well, that far out, as far as he's out, where you got to have a mini submersible, coral is not just going to grow out there unless there's something for it to grow on. I mean, you see out there where that seafloor is all sand. I mean,
yeah. Certainly nothing I've ever seen before based on my experience, and I have years of experience in doing this. We've identified multiple different types of shipwreck material. This does not match or look anything like that. Looking back at the Cooper charts, Darryll came across a puzzling note left by a former spaceman at the site of the structure. Unidentified object. He wants to remain neutral until he can dig up more evidence on what the structure could be, and he's hoping to have a third series on his Discovery show commissioned to help the story.
yeah, when they were doing the second season, when he was alluding to that, they talked about something about possibly doing a series just specifically on that. So, like, that was toward the end of the second season when he talked about that, and there was supposed to be a third season that just never happened.
Yeah.
And I went on.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try to talk without my headphones. If it sounds bad or anything, tell me and I'll switch to my computer.
It sounds all right.
All right.
And I tried to do some research into it. I went on the Discovery website and everything else, and everything I could find said that Discovery did not cancel the series. They had every intentions of doing the third series. It just like evaporated and didn't happen. And I think it was more to do with him than it was anything else.
That's weird looking. It's like round. I got little dots on it. Look at this one. I feel like that's easy. That could be like Photoshop, though. I could literally just like, make a triangle and put some dots in it and be like, look at this UFO in the sky. If there's a video for it, though. Oh, on video. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, here's a whole, what is this? UFO sightings daily. I wonder if they got any videos on here from. All right, here. We'll watch it real quick. I feel like this could be like a some, and for those who don't know,
Sorry, guys.
Tic Tac video. Oh, all right, hold on. It's called the Tic Tac video. What do I Google? Like Tic Tac video? Harp? I've heard of harp. Isn't that the thing that controls the weather or whatever? Hold up.
Yes, HARP. Yes, HARP is the high altitude radio frequency. That's a really interesting subject. I actually know a lot of that because I used to be a radio frequency engineer for AT&T.
Do either one of you remember the like governor or senator or whatever he was that came out on the news dressed as an alien and basically made a big joke out of everybody had seen the lights in the sky? Do any of you remember that?
No.
No.
Okay.
What is the point of HARP? Like, what does it do?
Oh, Kate, really? You want to? I mean, I can tell you, but like I said, I was a radio frequency engineer for AT&T. So this is a big, like, if you want it, I'll tell you. But it's a complicated, big subject.
So it's a scientific facility for studying the ionosphere.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. They're fucking up our ozone in order to try to shoot radio waves to. This is what they say. They say they're trying to shoot radio waves and bounce them off the atmosphere to, like, ships on the other side of the world. So there's, I don't know, no delay or something. I don't think that's real. I think it's actually like weather manipulation, like tsunami manipulation.
Oh, wow. It is particular importance for radio because low radio frequencies are reflected off the ionosphere, allowing for long distance communications. So how does it control the weather though? Like the ions and the
yeah, I mean you gotta look at the science, and basically what they do, they have these giant microwave shooters. I'm gonna put this in the most layman terms I can just for everybody out there. But they have these giant, like, picture like radio dishes, right? Mm-hmm. But they have an array of, I forget what they started with. They started with like 500 of them or something. They keep making it bigger, but it was 200 gigawatts of power for each one, and they shoot these massive amounts of microwave frequency at the atmosphere in a concentrated spot. And what it does is it makes the atmosphere bubble out, and it's screwing up our atmosphere.
Oh wow!
But and when people go and ask them why they're doing it, like what's the reason, and they say for scientific research. Like, what is that?
Now, like, does it cause like global warming and all that stuff?
I mean, that's what all the conspiracy theorists think. It does. It causes tidal waves and they're manipulating the earth with it. Basically, it's not weather; it's more the earth, which is a very powerful weapon. They've manipulated the weather they've been seeding clouds.
Triangle craft you were looking at earlier was the TR-3B. Now, is that like a government plane or something? Because that's what it looked like to me, like one of those government planes that they're working on.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, I showed a video of like a triangle. Like it said like a UFO over France, and it was like a triangle, and it had like.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, I just showed it. This is the Tic Tac video, though. I have on real quick. Hold on.
Okay, so it says taken above a U.S. Navy. My bad. Is everybody still there? Like everybody went muted for a minute. Hello?
Yeah, I mute when the video's on, or else it'll echo, so I can't say anything.
Oh, okay, my bad. I'll read it, but I missed that. I would read it out loud for you guys. What is this? Can you rewind this, or I mean, keep going if I'm off, but I like missed all this. I feel like okay. Official FLIR 1 is the second of 3 U.S. military videos of an unidentified aerial phenomenon (UAP) that has been through the official USG declassification review process and approved for public release. What? I don't know what any of that means. It's the only official footage that has been released that was taken during the 2004 Nimitz. Hey, my dad was on the USS Nimitz incident. Damn it! I don't know. Taken above a U.S. Navy FA-18 Super Hornet, the unaltered footage was captured by a Raytheon advanced targeting forward-looking infrared pod, which contains the most advanced sensors and powerful tracking systems on the market. Okay.
So your dad was on the USS Nimitz. We might need him to come up here and ask him if he saw a UFO.
Dude, you know, Mark the Shark will be all. Dude, as soon as we get him on alive, dude, it's over. Like,
he'll love
he needs
it.
his own show.
I know. He really does.
Dude, everybody would tune into the Mighty Ram show.
Oh yeah,
everybody.
Sure.
He could play the guitar and sing Beatles songs. Wait, are we still reading here? What are we doing? Sensor is in infrared mode. Serial. I don't know what I'm looking at here.
I think they might play the video at the end.
I mean, this does look legit because a lot of times when they have all this crazy stuff, that means that it was shut down before it got translated to layman's terms. Sensor aims 6 feet above aircraft axis.
So Melissa said this is a legitimate release of a UFO caught on this infrared tracking, and you watch them track it in real time and do impossible maneuvers. Okay, so if this isn't the video, if they don't play the video, I'll actually play the video after this.
The one I'm talking about is actually filmed them showing it from the ground over this building, I think in France. It wasn't
I just had that on, but this is a different one. This is it's called the Tic Tac video, but it's
this is one of the videos the Navy released.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah, okay.
It's the USS Nimitz one.
They had some jets in the air, and they actually tracked it on their radar. That's what this is from.
So it says hot display designator is in white mode. Hot items are white and cold items are black. In black mode, hot items are black and cold items are white.
That's racist.
This is killing me. This isn't really good. Like, these are the kind of these are the kind of videos the Navy releases that are like the worst. Like, you can find so much better videos because they only release the absolute minimum.
The best one they released is the one where it was actually showed it moving over the water and it was down close to the water. That was like the best one they released. But I think they released like 2 or 3 different ones.
Look how it moves, though. Like, that's not normal. A plane wouldn't do that.
And I watched an interview with the pilots that actually caught this this radar footage, and I think it was 2 guys and a woman.
What was it being tracked by?
They were tracking it from the FLIR pods on the jets.
So it was a plane tracking it? Like a jet in the air?
Yeah.
They actually seen it too, though.
They saw it, and then they
on here.
Because on the one video where it's down low over the water, you actually there's one with audio where you hear them talking back and forth to each other, and the one pilot asks the other pilot if he sees it, and then when he catches it on his radar, you hear him yell that he's got it, and it shows it just like hauling ass across right above the water. That was like the best one of the 3 they released.
All right, I'll play that. Pecan just sent a link. I'll send that to Discord, and then I can pull it up from there. I can't click on it in StreamYard for some reason. I don't know why. So they were able to lock on it as a target, and they deployed jets, but it did impossible maneuvers at a high rate of speed, just plunge into the water.
Yeah, the jets tracked it with their FLIR pods, and they also got it on radar from the ship.
Well, that's what they're saying about the way that the thing's moving with the amount of G forces it was pulling. Like organic, like creature wouldn't be able to survive that. So they're saying it's either unmanned or, you know what I mean, that element 115, how it affects gravity somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Create some kind of gravitational thing.
The pilots that were tracking it, they actually talked about how fast it was moving when they were talking back and forth to each other.
God damn it! I keep muting myself and forgetting. This is the one with the audio. Thank you.
You need a sound person, G. You gotta step your game up, Kate. Step your game up. I gotta start doing music in the background for you. Right? That's not how that's though, is it?
You can unmute now.
What?
I said I muted you for a minute so I could hear it.
Oh.
So wait, this is Rogan. His skepticism. I was going to say is that the Pentagon releases 3 leak video. Is this the one you're talking about? This?
Yeah,
the one by the water.
That one there's the one I was talking about.
Oh, it goes off when I mute. Oh, sorry. All right, let me play it again then. All right, so before I put my screen up, I wasn't planning on sharing the audio. I do that shit all the time. I should just hit share audio automatically, but I never do. I thought audio was playing. Wait, let me go back. All right, here we go.
Yeah, on, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. The whole thing, dude. That's not our LNS, though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's, look at that thing. It's rotating.
Play the other one that you had after that one, Kate.
That's one thing of logic. Oh, got it! Woohoo! Roger, there's troubleshooting shoes like it. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
That was the short version. There's a longer version of that.
I feel like it doesn't look like a Tic Tac though. It looks like a disc to me.
Well, in the longer version, they zoom in on it. That was before they zoomed in.
HD footage of a HD footage Tic Tac. What? Syndrome.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry, guys.
Is this it? The desert one, Sinus Camilla? Let's see. Imagine even a plane set. Yeah, that's crazy how it was moving too. And they said it was like against the wind, which was going like 100 miles an hour. Is this it? This reminds me of that movie that just came out. Nope. Yeah, we were talking about Element 115 in the beginning of the stream.
Okay, can you read what it says?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go back, but just like, I like when you read the things out loud. Because I can't really see. It's on my phone. I can't really see.
All right, yeah. Hold on, I'll make it big. It says Sam Chortek and Jimmy Chappie shot this footage they released to the public on January 9th, 2019.
Thank you.
It was shot near Beaver, Utah in October 2016. The filmmakers had no idea they recorded it.
Word.
This is so spectacular. It's worth the wait. Look for it to appear super fast at 1 minute and 46.5 seconds. So in about 23 more seconds, it'll appear.
Okay. Let's do it.
Did I slow it down, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to show like the whole footage.
How about I show it and then I'll run it back and slow it down so we can watch it in slow motion.
Word up.
Scared.
Did I miss it?
I don't know, man.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Looks like a friggin' screensaver.
Oh, I seen it. That looked like a fly, though.
That's
You know,
it.
like-
That's the big thing.
Yeah, you know when like bugs fly at the camera? That's what it looks like. Did you see it or did you miss it? Let's take
I
another
think
look.
I missed it.
Oh. All right, they're gonna slow it down.
Kate, put your mouse at where it's on the screen.
All right, hold on.
I didn't
It'll
even
be
see
like
it.
right. It'll be like right around here. God damn it! Come on. Oh, there it is, and it
I don't
stopped.
know, man. I
Yeah.
can't see nothing.
It
I
just
seen
came
it.
in the frame. Hold on. I don't know why my computer's being weird. I probably have a million things open. Oh, there we go.
Oh, I see. It's like a little white dot. Almost looks like a bird.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, when like a bug flies at the camera. Let me shut all this off so it doesn't go slow. I got like a million things open. I kind of want to check out this UFO sighting daily website though. All right. Let me rewind it. Like there. Oh, it just went by again. The drone and its pilots continue on completely unaware of what they just encountered. I mean, would it be that low though? It looks low. I would think it was like too quick to even see. Yeah, I guess that's the point. But
Like, how big is it that they didn't even see it with their naked eyes? You know what I mean?
yeah, it was like, it was small. Months later, combing through hours of B-roll, they realized they caught a UAP speeding at, I don't even know, like 5,000 something. What did I say? How would I even pronounce it? 5,000 miles per hour? What's the little, like, lower?
Greater than or less than?
Yeah, greater than or like less than 5,000 miles per hour. I don't know what that means, but
Greater than, I think.
I mean, what? That thing looks so small. What would be in it? I think it's a bug. I think that one's a bug, at least. I don't know. Let's see this. They're saying they're alien faces in the rocks. No way.
Oh, I've seen that. It is weird, but who
That
cares?
looks like things moving, though, like people. Or
It's weird, like, but who cares? I don't know. Like, they're trying to make it look like they're actual alien faces. Like, maybe they're statues is what they're really saying.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I could look at the ground and probably find like a million faces in the ground if I wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the moon and see a face.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping there would actually be someone like, you know, turning the corner behind like a fence or something and it'd be like a whole ass alien, but
You're just on the basic level of these sites right now. Like, you're finding the ones that come up in your search right away because that's the one the government's push. But if you go deep, you can find some really crazy stuff. Next
Here, I'll
time,
put
everybody, I'll bring some videos.
look up the Mars face. Hold up. Oh, that's the Mars face. And then what's the one? Antarctica. I see a lizard.
They have pictures of a pyramid on Mars.
Ooh, that's creepy. Look at that.
And there's like a doorway. They say that people used to live on, not people, but aliens used to live on Mars.
Didn't they actually find that there was like real giants too? Like they found like giant bones?
Yeah, from the Bible. You got to look up the Book of Enoch. It tells the whole story.
No, but like didn't they actually find bones? Like
Yeah, they found skeletons and skulls and stuff recently, just in the past few years.
All right, top 20 UFOs caught on camera. Mars was once an Earth-like planet. There are legitimate giant fossils. Oh, wow.
Keep watching the stars. Something is bound to happen eventually. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 UFOs caught on camera. For this list,
I mean, we could take the list and look into each one.
Of unidentified flying objects. Some have since been explained, but many remain the subject of debate. Number 20, the Hebei incident. Set against the backdrop of Tianjin, Hebei Province, China, this photo can be traced back to at least 1942, although some argue it was actually snapped in 1911. Either way, Japanese student Masujiro Kiru stumbled upon it in his father's photo album during World War II. The photo.
Real quick. Yesterday, I was listening to sports radio, and there was some lady on there singing "Fly Eagles Fly" in Japanese and yelling "Dallas sucks" in Japanese. I tried to memorize.
Man, I gotta get that. I gotta get that. That's going on.
I said it like 80 times so I could remember it, and I forget how to say it. But I was like, "This is awesome."
Oh, I'm sampling that on my next mix. Believe that.
And then she was like, "Oh shoot, I messed up." And they were like, "We don't know what the hell you're saying anyway. It doesn't matter. Keep going."
That's what's up. That's hilarious.
You know, if we start talking about the giants, we got to talk about the mermaids.
Mermaid?
What?
Like
the mermaids?
Sirens?
Yeah, like.
You really think there's mermaids?
You guys, okay, look up Mermaids, the Body Found. It was on Animal Planet. They did 2 shows.
My back is a mess. I need a muscle relaxer. Oh.
I wrote a book called The Monuments of Mars. It's kind of goofy, but cool at the same time. Ooh, I have to see that. Yeah, the pyramids are crazy. Like, the pyramids are... I just think it's wild that, like, you can't even fit a piece of paper between the bricks, and that they're measured like perfectly.
Yeah, but Grandma Sherry's right. That's why they have those like the way it's built. They have these holes. They're energy generators, and they used to beam this beam of light up into the air because it used to be covered in onyx. I forget what the outside layer used to be. Pyramids are on another level. They had batteries back then. They found them. They made them out of clay jars, actual batteries. So the theory is they use it to actually generate energy, and it was alien stuff. And honestly, like from everything I've read and like the people that I know that really know this stuff, like secret society people who have told me what's really going on, like, yeah, that stuff is for real on point.
Yeah, if you look up that Mermaids the Body Found, that dude that was the head of NOAA, he lost everything over that.
Yeah, people are saying that the mermaid was debunked, though. Like sorry, I'm making a lot of noise. Hold on, guys.
Excuse me.
I'm trying to move my diamond painting. Oh, real quick, for those who haven't seen it, I'll show y'all real quick. It's a diamond painting of my lizard.
But what he proved through his research is that the Navy and the government was doing underwater sonar testing to use it as a weapon, and it was causing like massive events of like beached whales and stuff, and all the dead whales washing up on the beaches and stuff. Every time that he caught that sonar test that they did, it was followed within like a day or two of massive amounts of whales and stuff washing up on the beaches, and all their insides were liquefied, just like if a human body is hit by a shock from a big explosion, it can literally liquefy your organs and stuff in your body. And that's basically what was happening to these whales and stuff.
Ooh, that's weird.
19.
Here's
the Belgian UFO wave. In late November 1989, Belgium started receiving numerous reports of a UFO. Various people described the UFO as a giant triangle with a flat surface.
Is this the one you're talking about?
And the reports kept coming well into early 1990, reaching a crescendo in late March of that year. When a UFO was picked up on radar.
What's that? My bad.
Is this the one you're talking about, the Belgian one?
They have a video of it, and they show it hovering over the building.
While they didn't see anything, 143 other individuals supposedly did. For over 20 years, ufological
Yeah, see, Kate, this is still basic level stuff. You got to go deep to get the real videos. And that's wrong. Actually, I'm wrong, because the video I'm talking about was actually international news, but I'm imagining it's hard to find now because they actively have been suppressing the internet.
Yeah.
Surfer eventually revealed it was a hoax.
This
Writer
one
Marc
was a
Allais
hoax?
attributed the Belgian UFO wave to the media and stood up spreading misinformation, causing a mass delusion.
Indeed, there is.
Oh shit! If that's a hoax, why would they even put that on here?
Damn, Kate, I didn't even know you were doing this, man. I would have brought my YouTube list of like, I have like categories of crazy videos.
Ella Louise Fortune had another close encounter of sorts.
Like alien videos?
Anything, yeah, tons of it. Moons and stuff. I have like, I've sorted out to all the really good underground stuff.
So the batteries were called galvanic batteries or Baghdad batteries. They're very real, but the pyramids are way more advanced, intact. Some are speculated to have been imploded from the inside, not Giza pyramids. The others.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Hey, it's me, Jay.
Highway 54.
Yeah, the batteries were in like a pot, like a clay pot or something.
Jars.
Yeah.
I want to see like an alien, like someone who saw a freaking alien.
You should have put the Bob Lazar thing on. That thing was great. His interview.
Yeah, the problem is like I could do clips of it, but if I put, I could probably, let me see. What, the Joe Rogan one? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, he's talking about the documentary we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, whatever. Anything with him's good.
The new documentary is crazy. The one that Joe Rogan kept talking about, that one. That documentary blew my mind.
I'm afraid if I play Joe Rogan's, that they'll...
Do the fire in the sky story.
No, you just got to put reaction after it, and you can do anything.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't. All right, we'll watch the Joe Rogan one.
Boom, and we're live. First of all, cheers, gentlemen. Let's have a little toast. Relax, Bob. Thank you very much.
If I put it on full screen, it's gonna. I can try, but it might be. I don't know why it does this, but it like.
Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. I understand that you've told the story many, many times. You've been grilled many, many times, and it's very stressful for you. So I really, really appreciate your time. For people who don't know the story, there's a documentary. Jeremy Corbell has a documentary out right now. It's called Bob Lazar, Area 51 and UFOs.
And that's the one.
Sorry, Area 51 and flying saucers.
Okay.
So what is it? Bob Lazar, Area 51 and flying saucers?
Whatever he just said, that's the one. Because I went and looked it up. That's how I found it.
All right.
I first heard your story decades ago. I told you last night when we went out to dinner. I've seen pretty much every interview you've ever given. I've followed the story incredibly closely. But for people who don't know the story, let's give them the bullet points. You used to work at Area 51. And Area 51, God, you went like, huh?
Well, we want to be accurate.
Okay.
Area S4.
Is that a what's it called shirt? The
periodic table.
No, what didn't they have a shirt like that for the what the hell is it called?
Bed.
What does it say? What does it say?
Bromine and barium.
S4. Okay.
It's about 15 miles south of Area 51.
Okay.
But
you worked in how would you describe it?
I guess within the Area 51 compound. You can call that a subset of Area 51.
So he didn't work in Area 51.
You got that job. Before that, you were working.
Before that, I had worked at Los Alamos
National
Labs in New Mexico.
And you were.
He also produced a few pornos.
Who?
Bob
Lazar. Hell yeah, he's a pimp. Hell yeah, not like a pimp. I don't mean like a pimp, like an actual pimp. I mean like hell yeah, yo. He's a rebel.
I found that out today. I was like, oh, they were like before all this, he video produced.
No, it was after. It was after.
Oh, I thought it said
he came out and the government was after him, and he went on all these talk shows, and then after that, at some point, he dabbled in porn. Which, hey, it happens.
Yeah, I guess.
Were involved in what kind of work?
Nuclear weapon development, physics. I mean, they do everything there.
So how do they approach you to say, hey, Bob, why don't you come on out to the Nevada desert?
Well, the way this went down was, at that time, it was 1982. I had put a jet engine in my Honda, and Los Alamos put it on the front page of the paper. Said,
he did an engine swap with a jet engine.
No, yeah, that was his. No, yeah, that was his.
I thought an LS swap was badass, but a jet engine. What the hell?
No, that was his hobby. As his hobby, like after he graduated high school, he like worked at like some engineering job. But his hobby, his pastime, was building rocket-propelled vehicles.
That's crazy. Oh no! Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, I DJ'd, like you know what I mean. Like I DJ'd, and I'm like he's like, I want to build a rocket-propelled bicycle. It started off with bicycles, and then it graduated to like actually like those sand dune, like you see in like the Salt Lakes in Utah, where they got the going for land speed records. He graduated that, and that's when like or whoever hired him, he'll tell you.
Built this 200 mile an hour, on the jet car that I drove to work every day. So, I was known in Los Alamos as the guy with the weird car, and you could hear it from a mile away. Anyway, the day that came out on the front page of the paper was the day Edward Teller, the father of the hydrogen bomb, was giving a lecture down there at the lab. And we didn't have much going on that day in our group, and I asked if I could go down there. And I went down there early, and Ed Teller was outside, leaning on a brick wall there and reading the front page of the paper. Now, this is a guy out of history. So I introduced myself. Hey, I'm the guy you're reading about there. And we talked for a little while.
So the guy came to him because he saw it in the. You're crazy, Matt. Joe Rogan's awesome. I love Joe Rogan.
Word up, word up.
I just like how he can talk about anything, and it's interesting. Like, I don't know. I just like.
Well, I like that he can actually talk about things on both sides, and like he doesn't just discredit things. He'll actually talk about it until he forms an actual opinion, and it's usually like very advanced opinion that we can all kind of relate to. You can't agree. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but you got to respect him as a person, I think.
Like usually podcasts are like a niche, but he just talks about whatever the frig he wants. And
yeah,
I don't know how much he's paid, but I'm sure he's grossly overpaid.
Yo, shout out to my weed heads out there.
Fast forward years later, I had moved out to Las Vegas and had, left Los Alamos and, went on to other things. And I wanted to get back into the scientific community. I left to start other businesses and that sort of thing. So I sent resumes out, and one of them went out to Ed Teller and referenced our meeting, back in the day. And anyway, he remembered me and gave me a reference, somebody to contact at EG&G. And that's pretty much how it started.
So you get a phone call or a letter? Like, what do you get?
Well, I got what did I get? I got a letter initially and went down for an interview probably a couple times. And it was down at EG&D Special Projects, which was at McCarran Airport at that time out in Las Vegas.
And did they give you any sort of job description of what you were applying for?
They said it was for, I can't remember exactly what they did. This was a long time ago, but I think it was advanced propulsion or something like that, something relatively generic. And they said it's in a remote area. It's going to be some days on, some days off. And, it was kind of not exactly a full-time job, but you might have to be out there for 2 weeks at a time and take 2 weeks off.
So what do they want to do? Like, yeah, right? Please abduct me. I'm tired of paying bills. Same. It is so true, PK. She said, I'll never understand how Rogan became the thought leader of our time. I feel like it is so random, though, because he was like a UFC fighter. Like, how do you go from like a UFC fighter to like...
Because he wasn't a typical... Like, everybody thinks UFC fighters got to be a dumb jock. It's actually one of the most intricate... Like boxing was called what?
Well, no, I mean it's just like a random path. Like you're
but that you're being stereotypical a little bit. Like I got friends who are MMA fighters, and you shouldn't look at them like that.
I'm not saying anything about an MMA fighter. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's weird how he went from like one job to a completely different thing, and then suddenly became like the podcast king.
Like, I think that says how versatile
I agree.
He didn't do that. He started announcing for UFC.
Well,
and then
he had wasn't he a fighter too at some point? I know.
No, he was never. He might have done a couple.
Fear Factor too, like the host.
Yeah, I forgot about Fear Factor. Yeah. Oh shit, I forgot about Fear Factor.
Yeah, he was on that, like the show where they drop all the bugs and shit on you. I would be so freaking good at that show.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, I think he's cool, like and smart. Like he has to be.
I
smart
agree with it. I agree. I think it's cool that he
built all that on his own.
Yeah, I wasn't being stereotypical. I was just saying it's funny.
No, it's just like people are saying they hate Joe Rogan. It's like, man, don't be a
Who
hater.
said I hate Joe Rogan? Ain't nobody.
No, I said people say that. I'm talking to the chat.
Oh. Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's that? We're talking about aliens.
No, you guys talking a little bit about UFC and MMA.
Oh, well, a little bit. We just got it. We're talking about Joe. Well, we're talking about aliens, really. And now we're at Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar interview.
Yeah, Joe Rogan never had an amateur or professional fight ever.
Yeah, he just does it as like
But he did it like.
He just kicks the bag hard. That's it.
No, that's wrong. He works.
No, bro, listen, bro. I train an American Top Team.
What's that? I can't. Hold on. Wait. So you're saying you are involved in MMA?
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry. I don't know you. Wait, I can't really see you. I'm on a phone, so I'm sorry.
No, you're good, brother.
Well, he does it on his own, right? Like,
he trains a little bit. He kicks the pad, he kicks the bag good. That's about it.
No, what's it called? What's it called when you grapple each other for like it's as training?
Oh, jujitsu?
No, as training. Like in the sessions, they call it like rumbling or wrestling.
Spar.
No.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm confused. Ask the question one more time. I'm sorry, brother.
All right. So, like in Brazilian jiu-jitsu gyms, when you spar with each other, there's a certain term for that. But when it's only grappling,
rolling.
What homeboy just said? Rolling.
Rolling. He does that all the time.
Yeah, he rolls around at a gym.
But that's more than kicking a bag.
No, I mean, listen, that's his best claim to his fame is kicking a bag. It's not rolling around in a gym.
I don't think his claim to fame has anything to do with how tough he is.
Joe Rogan's. Are you comparing him just to a regular person or an actual fighter?
No, I'm saying his claim to fame is not in fighting.
Well,
It's not.
announcing, I guess, like
It's
announcing.
100. Yeah, it's 100% announcing in his
He's
podcast.
He's got the biggest podcast in the
Well,
freaking
no,
universe.
we were saying like he started off as like, you know,
Fear Factor, as we all know. And he was
yeah,
gonna fight with
Fear
the guy there.
Factor. He was announcer, and then he did Fear Factor, and now he's got the biggest the #1 podcast in
And
the world.
still an announcer, but he's not a he's not a claim to fame for anything. And
in UFC.
So I mean, listen.
Tell us how you really feel.
I just did, but I train over at American Top Team. Well, 2 years ago I stopped. Once COVID
Where's
hit.
that? Where's the gym?
South Florida, American Top Team. You ever heard of American Top Team? Yeah.
No, I mean, no, like my friend,
It's the biggest gym in America.
My friend, my like really good friend growing up, went pro and did shows or did fights in Atlantic City. So I only know like really like East Coast.
What's his name? I'm East Coast. I'm from Boston.
Okay. His name is Dave McMahon.
What? He didn't fight pro. If he did, it was for a small organization, like very, very small. Like it wasn't UFC, Bellator, or PFL, or Cage.
No, it wasn't UFC.
It wasn't Bellator. Yeah, it was probably like a, jungle fights or something like that, where
But you can look him up, Dave McMahon. Look up Dave McMahon MMA on YouTube, Kate.
Is he on Dog or Tapology?
I don't know. Look him up.
All right, well, let's watch this, and then.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Dave McMahon.
Off, so it was kind of the work schedule would be kind of broken up.
And did this seem attractive to you, or did it seem weird?
No, it really wasn't weird because people that work at the test site, anybody that's familiar with the area up there, working at the nuclear test site or at the Tonopah test range north of there, that's typically how things go.
So you had known about it from the scientific community? Because Area 51 at that time was
no, they didn't say anything about Area 51.
Okay, so they
just said it was in a remote location, and you just know it was up at the test site.
Right.
So, but there was no mention of Area 51 at that time.
So they've done hundreds of nuclear tests in Nevada. That whole area there's giant chunks of Nevada that people.
Yeah, there's a big piece of Nevada, and it's split up into different areas. There's a nuclear test site. There's Area 51. There's the Tonopah test range north of that. There's little sub areas. There's areas where they test chemical weapons and things like that. So it's all broken up as a gigantic test area.
So take me back to first day on the job. You accept a job. They take you out there.
Yeah, it's the first day, really, I didn't really get to see a whole lot. The first day was essentially just paperwork. That's when I flew into Area 51 proper. And I left McCarran Airport and flew what they call the Janet flights. Just.
So he was in S4, but did he actually go in area? Like, I know it's in Area 51, but did they keep you only from going in
It's all compartmentalized, Kate. Like there's different sections that do different things. You know what I mean? Not everybody knows all of everything that's going on in each subdivision.
Yeah, he says
so they keep it separated. Like they're not going to let somebody in S4 be in the other parts or whatever.
You're only allowed to know about what you're working on, and that's it. And what you're working on is a very small piece of the whole thing.
Gotcha.
A passenger plane from Las Vegas to Area 51. And it was really just going through a mountain of paperwork that day, from security clearances to, it was like 2 or 3 hours of just solid paperwork. And that was really an uneventful first day.
When did things get weird? When did you realize? Like, at what point in time did you say, "Hey, this is not normal work. Like, this doesn't even seem like it's from this planet"?
That I can't tell you what day that occurred on because so much time has gone by. The days have kind of fused into one, and I can't separate the days.
Was it a slow burn, or was there a moment of recognition?
Well, the first inkling I had was when I came in. There's this facility that is at S4. It's in the side of a mountain, and normally we had pulled in with the bus and gone around the front through a normal double door. This time that I went in, there were hangar doors open. I went in through the hangar door, and in the hangar door was the disc, the flying saucer that I worked on. I saw it sitting there, and we walked by it. It had a little American flag stuck on the side, and I thought, oh my God, this finally explains all the flying saucer stories. This is just an advanced fighter, and this is fucking hilarious.
Right.
So I went by, I slid my hand alongside it. I got reprimanded immediately for touching the thing. And there was a guy, an armed guard, that followed us in and just said, keep your eyes forward and your hands at your side and just walk in the door. So that was the first time I had seen anything that was weird. It was sometime later that I was introduced to my my lab partner, Barry, and we had some of the subcomponents of the craft in the lab. And Barry was very anxious to get a new lab partner. So he was very talkative and couldn't wait to show me different things. And it was in the demonstration of the reactor working where...
So he says it's a disc too. Oh my God, I sound like I said dick. It sounds like... But I feel like the Tic Tac is a disc and it's just like sideways and you can't see it. Like it looks like a... They're calling them UAPs and some are calling them UFOs and some just saying unidentified object.
UAP is the new term for UFO.
Why did they change it? What is it? Unidentified?
Because UFOs got a negative connotation, like crazy people, like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, hold it.
It caught my attention to where this is technology that doesn't even exist. So, I mean, that was the first time I knew that this is really something different.
My bad. What I miss?
What was it? What was it about this reactor?
Nothing really. Just talking about
technologically.
Well, it was I actually have to back up because there were some briefings that I read before that certainly gave me the impression that this was going to be a weird job, but this was the first hands-on thing. This was a small reactor about the size of a hemisphere, about the size of a basketball on a metal plate. And when it was running, it produced a gravitational field of its own. Now, this is something that we can't do. We can't produce any gravity. The only way we get gravity is from large quantities of mass. But there's no machine we can have that turns on that makes gravity, like you turn on like a magnet and it makes a magnetic field. We can't make a gravitational field. Anyway, this device was producing that, and Barry said, almost like he was bragging, "Go ahead, try and touch the sphere," and I couldn't. It pushed my hands away, just like two like poles of a magnet. So that was
so like when you take.
I was just about to say that. So when you take like two magnet ends that are the same and try and put them together, it does that. So it like pushes it off.
Yeah.
And the thing is the size of a basketball?
Hold on, yo, my man Nick. Yo, my boy David, man, you said he's low level. Yo, bro, hold on, let me speak. Yo, I guarantee
you asked me a question, didn't you?
God damn. All right, my bad. Go ahead.
All right.
No, I said you asked me a question.
Testosterone on the panel.
I'm just trying to
it's
answer
not that
your question.
serious.
I'm just trying to ask you a question.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
The question is, if I give him 6 months to train, I'll put him against anybody you got, and he will destroy them.
I'm gonna kick y'all both off. We're trying to have.
If you want to, it's all right, Kay. You can take me off if you want to.
Y'all both.
Magnets and trying to press them together. And
you have
against
that,
each other.
Yeah, that kind of cushion feeling, but you can't get them together. The closer you put them, the more they push. But
and you felt that physically
with my hand. Yeah, no, there's nothing that does that. And that immediately caught my attention going, wow, this is something else.
What was your thought? Like when you felt that and you knew that there was nothing that you were aware of that could produce
then
this?
that connected me to the briefings that I read on the first day at S4 was that, everything that I had read was apparently accurate.
What were you reading?
I read, it was kind of an overview. This project was to back engineer the alien craft. And specifically, it was to try and back engineer and see if we can duplicate the technology with available materials. Now, to do this, they split the project into many different pieces for several reasons. They do this on all classified projects, so nobody has the complete story, but they compartmentalize everything. And we had the power and propulsion system. So what the briefings they gave me were like a 1 or 2 page overview of some of the other projects that were going on, in the craft. The only reason they do that is just in case what you're working on is connected intimately in some way.
My bad. I got muted for a minute.
Projects, you have to know their, their existence. So,
but Nick, man, you heard what I said.
Again, everything from metallurgy to weapon potential of the craft, and these were all essentially very short briefings. But mine was just power and propulsion, and it made it very clear that what I read was accurate.
So when you were reading that before you actually saw the reactor, what were your thoughts on what they were describing? If you knew that something like that didn't exist, and they're describing it in the briefings, what did you think you were going to see?
I didn't know at the time. I mean, I was reading, I thought, is this some kind of test?
See if you're crazy?
Well, not to see if I'm crazy, a lot of times they'll take in real high security jobs. I mean, they'll intentionally insert nonsense into them, whether it's to confuse the fact or if for someone was to leak it out, they would carry that information along and know where it came from. So I read through the documents, but, I didn't know if this was, part of some kind of test or, or what, or was it potentially realistic? I mean, I really didn't consider it being all that possible as far as being the actual thing that I was going to work on at the time.
How did they turn it on?
The reactor?
Yeah.
The reactor can be turned on or turned off in a lot of different ways. The way Barry showed me, the hemisphere is removed. There's a small tower in the middle. When you put the hemisphere on, the reactor activates. The reactor shuts down. It's load sensing. So if there's no load on the reactor at all, it shuts down. When there's a load present on it, it starts up again.
Load meaning?
You can consider it an electrical load. So although it doesn't necessarily operate electrically, there's no wiring that connects any of the subcomponents together whatsoever. They just have to be in the immediate vicinity. The stuff is borderline magic. And that's essentially where we left it, when I left the project.
So there was no progress made?
There was some progress. I mean, we did identify, at least we think, some processes and had a rough idea, we think, of what was going on. But I think this is a problem that they've had for a long time. And, I was replacing somebody that Barry worked with prior to me. And I think there was some horrific accident that I didn't have a whole lot of information on, but, Barry alluded to that.
A horrific accident, like where someone died? Or
yeah, where somebody died.
Because they were trying to tamper with things or figure out how something worked?
Yeah, the reactor in particular.
But yet he let you touch it.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do was cut into one. Okay. Now they had more than one there, and it was supposedly there was an unannounced nuclear test, and that's what it was. At the time, remember, they were still doing underground nuclear tests at the test site. But from what I understand, according to Barry, there was an attempt made. Now, this must have been a pretty desperate attempt because it's not a very scientific process to cut, analyze something that way. But it looked like they used a plasma cutter or something like that to cut into an operating reactor.
How many of these things did they have?
They had nine craft altogether. I only got hands-on with one of them, so I can't really say what how the others operated.
Did you see the other ones?
Yeah. At one time, and only one time, the bay doors between the hangars were all open, and I could see all the way through.
And were they all exactly the same?
No, they were all different.
Different shapes?
Yeah.
But they were all from somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, did anyone make any attempt to explain or to tell you where they came from?
No one is the least bit interested in letting everybody know all the facts. They want to give you the minimum information that's necessary to complete your task. So you're not getting the story of where they came from. You're not getting the story of how much progress other people are making. You just focus on the small component.
But they gave you some indication that they've been working on these for a while?
Yeah.
When do you think they acquired these?
I really couldn't say. I think they've been around for a while.
Oh, come on. Hutchinson's word means nothing. Hey, LFT. We're just talking about aliens and how we're getting invaded. I didn't pay attention to the last sentence. So obviously the government can't do it in the 2000s. How could they do it in 1979? Yeah,
So they bring you into this room. You see this reactor working. You realize this is nothing that, as far as like the scientific community at current time, has the ability to create.
We still don't.
What is your life like from that moment on? Is that where everything changes? Because I would imagine the moment you actually make contact with something that's extraterrestrial, whether it's an object or a being, something where you can actually absolutely be certain it's not from here, your whole paradigm, the whole world you live in, is now a different place.
Well, this is the only time it became this was a fantastic opportunity, and
See you, Sinus Camillo.
however, in short order, it began to concern me. We really have no idea what we're talking about, and the excitement kind of turned to dread at some point, because the amount of power we're dealing with is astronomical. I mean, to affect gravity, to produce the effects like this equipment does, takes huge amounts of power. And I've given the example before of, taking a small portable nuclear reactor and, putting it back into Victorian times, with the scientists of the time, and just dropping it in a room. They come and look at it and see that it's producing power and wonder how it works. So they start taking it apart. And as soon as they get some of the shielding off, the people are going to drop dead because of the radiation inside. Now, people have no idea that radiation even exists back then. But anybody that comes in to check on them will also drop dead. And, there's no reason that exact scenario couldn't happen with what we're dealing with. We have no idea how the physics operate within this thing. The power levels are, like I said, astronomical. Like, it's incredibly dangerous to tinker with something like that. And, in some respects, we were guinea pigs, just try to find out how to make this thing.
So they had a series, as far as you surmised, they had a series of different scientists try to back engineer this thing, try to figure out what this thing was, and they would bring in new people and let's throw Bob at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
don't know how many, but I knew there was certainly one before me, and I knew he died during the analysis of the reactor itself.
And you don't know how many have worked on it, and no one gave
This
any
could have been there
indication.
for 50 years. It could have been there for 5 years.
When they're
I
giving you
really don't know.
instructions, what are they saying? Like when they're giving you direction, they're showing you all this stuff. Like what are they saying? What specifically? What are they asking of you?
Well, essentially what they ask is what I said. We are just to gather as much information as possible, find out how it operates, and see if we can duplicate it. So,
But they never told you where it was from. They never.
So I'm just curious how they could have, like, why they would. I get he put a jet engine in his car, but like, is he does he have any like science like background or anything? I don't know. I feel like they're like
He got in through what's his name? One of the guys that was a big shot in the nuclear program. He met him, and that's kind of how he got his foot in the door over there.
Gotcha. No more. All right. So he doesn't really. I'm not sure, LFT. I don't think it was that long ago. Anyone remember how long ago this actually it was long. There's around 3 years ago. Because that's like the oldest comment that I see. Let me see. Is there a way I can check by? No. Probably around 3 years ago, I guess. I don't know how to check the date.
Let you ask questions about where it's from.
Well, if the information I read in the briefings was accurate, now what I do have to say is the information that pertained directly to the reactor was accurate. What I read did jive with reality.
In terms of how?
In terms of how it was made, what we saw, how it operated, the materials, how it, turned on, and what was discovered about it. I'm sorry, the migraine is really making it hard for me to think here.
Sorry, no, we talked that before the podcast. You tell everybody Bob is getting a migraine. I know you're very stressed out by this, which is one of the reasons why I appreciate you doing this.
Where was I already?
We're talking about
right.
the explained it.
And so there was some paperwork that indicated that this was from the Zeta Reticuli star system. Now, how they obtained that, I haven't the slightest idea. But it wasn't just from the Zeta Reticuli star system. It was what they called ZR3. So it was a third planet in that star system. So
they're saying it came from a planet in the star system?
Yeah, the star system is supposed. Well, he said.
How can they know that though? Like, how do you know where they know?
I sent you a comment in the private chat thing, and there's a abduction story on a married couple. Their names are Barney and Betty Hill.
Mm-hmm.
It was. But anyway, their names were Betty and Barney Hill, and they were a husband and wife that were abducted. And this was back, I don't remember, 70s or something, 60s, 70s. And they, under hypnosis, gave them the information of everything they saw and everything that happened. And it's quite funny because the star system that they said that the aliens took them to was the Zeta Reticuli star system. The same one he's talking about that they said that ship was from.
So what did they say happened? Like, did they do like tests on them or anything? Like,
I don't remember the whole story because it's been quite a while since I read it and looked into it, but it's really interesting. There's a couple of really good videos on YouTube about it. But it's like one of the biggest alien abduction stories ever, like probably as big or bigger than the Fire in the Sky story.
There was, I don't think it's the same one though. There was one that I heard where these people were like driving and they just got like abducted. Like they said it was like right out of their car. And then
that's them. It was in New Hampshire. They were on their way back from their honeymoon.
Car. Like it was like they fell asleep and woke up and they were back in the car.
Yeah, that was them. It was in New Hampshire. They were on their way back from their honeymoon.
Okay.
They were driving down the road, and I think she saw a light, and then he saw the light, and then the next thing they remember is they were waking up in their car.
Yeah.
And they had lost like a crap load of time. But then when the story got out and, they were trying to disprove them and discredit them, like they went under hypnosis and everything. And it ended up being the same star system that he just said that they told him that ship was from, the Zeta Reticuli star system. And back at that time, we hadn't even discovered that star system yet.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they just said like they didn't even find that yet. But how did they know the name of the star? Like, how is it like?
I think
like, what if the U.S. just name it whatever name they want to name? You know what I mean? Or like, how do they know?
No, that was the name. I think that was the name that they gave him under hypnosis, and they actually drew out a map of the star system, like basically if you were drawing, say, the Big Dipper or something, where you would put all the stars, and that. So they did it like that, and then we actually ended up discovering that star system, and it matched their map perfectly.
Oh wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
there was no other information about it other than that's supposedly where the craft came from. Now, is that true? I don't know. I have no way of verifying that, but that was printed in the same materials that reference the reactor. Now, I looked that stuff up when I went home, and Zeta Reticuli is a binary star, two stars that orbit one another, and it's only visible in the southern hemisphere, and it's about 30 some odd light years away. So that's literally all the information I have about that. I don't know how they found out it came from there.
And you also probably have some suspicions that they give you some disinformation like you were talking about before. Where they would, if you ever decided to talk about this, they added a bunch of nonsense to make whatever is factual look ridiculous.
Right. Or be able to trace it down. Like, okay, this fax came out and, this Lazar guy said it had, came from Zeta Reticuli. So they knew it was.
When you read Zeta Reticuli, we're like, what in the fuck is this?
Well, reading all of the stuff. It was what the fuck is this?
Yeah, why did I sign up for this? Like, what?
No, it was to me. This
I would
was
have the
cool.
same
It was interesting.
reaction.
I was just excited to be out in a secure area, in the middle of the desert. I said, "This is awesome."
How old were you at the time?
I was in my 20s.
Yeah, so you're probably like totally geeked out.
Oh yeah, this was great. I mean, I was excited. So I didn't care. I'm reading through everything, and
so you read through all the Zeta Reticuli thing, but then when you see the actual starship with the little American flag sticker on it,
well, was
that later or before?
That was before.
So before. So you see the thing before, and you say, "Oh, this is American."
Wait, what's that before?
Hard. So many years.
Yeah, I can't.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
The days have fused together. It's so hard to separate what happened in each visit.
Do you remember the thought process when you read that it's from Zeta Reticuli?
Yeah, it didn't hit me like a ton of bricks or anything. It was just like, yeah, okay. And,
you think it was bullshit?
I don't know.
You just were like,
okay. Now I don't. I mean, because when I read it, I hadn't verified anything, and this was just a bunch of stuff I was reading, and I thought maybe after this they're just going to give me a test and see what I can remember in crazy information, and then it would. But like I said, when I finally went in with Barry.
Oh, we know it's not new info. We were just talking about aliens, and we were talking about watching his story. Was it just on the subject of aliens, since alien stuff was happening?
And had hands-on experience with what they were talking about, it took on a completely different meaning.
So there's a plate, there's this thing that looks like a half a basketball, and when it's on, you can't come anywhere near it. You can't touch it.
Right.
How is it? What is gravity about that? Like the concept of gravity to most people is gravity is bringing something towards it.
Right. Well, I guess you would say it's anti-gravity.
So it's basically what like UFOs look like the plate and then like the disc and like half a basketball on each end. I guess the middle part is what does the anti-gravity thing, or the whole thing?
They're saying that the generator was only like the size of a basketball,
So I guess that's like
and
the
that
round
was
part
inside of it.
Yeah.
Gravity shifted 180 degrees. It's anti-gravity.
And did they have any understanding about what could possibly create this effect? Did they have any areas where they'd like you to look into?
No, they knew there was a fuel source in it, and they were proficient at making it work. And again, my analogy to something like this is you can drop a motorcycle off in the wagon train days and just leave it with the keys parked outside, somebody's place. Everybody will come around it and they'll poke and prod, and eventually they'll turn the key, get it to start, and become proficient at riding it.
Yeah.
But they won't be able to understand what the hell's going on. They won't be able to make the plastic fender, much less anything else. And I think that's exactly the state we were at. We played around with the parts long enough before I got there where they could make the reactor operate, take the fuel out, and know that it makes it work. How exactly what was going on in the reactor remained a mystery at the time. I think we made some progress on what was going on inside, but I don't think anybody really knew anything. They could just watch what was going on and make note of it.
How long were you there?
I'd say about 6 months or so.
And what progress was made while you were there?
Well, we came up with a bunch of reasonably good ideas about how the reactor worked. And one of them was the square base of it was essentially like a cyclotron, which is a small particle accelerator, a circular one. Particle accelerators, linear particle accelerators are just a long tube essentially, and they accelerate particles with high voltage and radio frequencies till they reach high speeds. But a cyclotron does that in a small circular area. And there's this very heavy element fuel, element 115, something that wasn't on our periodic charts at the time.
But it is now.
It is now, yeah.
When did it become on the periodic table now, the charts now?
Yeah.
So are they basically implying like this thing had like a mini particle accelerator inside? And good night, Grandma Sherry. Wasn't he the guy that actually seen an alien? Bob Lazar? I don't know if he ever seen an alien. Hold on. I'll show you guys. Let me... Betty and Barney. I'll go back to this in 1 second. This is... So, these people, the one that What's It Called was talking about, I've seen an interview, like I don't know what it was. I think it was like a UFO show where they talked about it. But, so it was an American couple who claimed they were abducted by extraterrestrials in the rural portion of New Hampshire in 1961. Oh, it does say that. The incident came to be called the Hill abduction and Zeta Reticuli incident because the star map shown to Betty Hill could possibly be the Zeta Reticuli system, according to some researchers. The story was adapted into a best-selling book called The Interrupted Journey and a 1975 television film, The UFO Incident. I swear, if this is the same one that I'm talking about, in the same area, there was like another abduction that happened like nearby on the same night. Like to this, if I remember correctly, I think. But there was this girl who was like out in her yard with her family and then just like disappeared and then she reappeared again. But like I forget how much like time had passed, but she like disappeared and reappeared and they didn't know where she went. And I'm pretty sure it was like in the same area around the same time, possibly on the same night. Barney was employed with the United States Postal Service and Betty was a social worker. They were an interracial couple at the time. At a time where it was particularly uncommon in the United States, Barney was black and Betty was white. According to a variety of reports given by the Hills, the alleged UFO sighting happened about 10:30 p.m. They were driving back to Portsmouth from a vacation in Niagara Falls in Montreal, just south of Lancaster, New Hampshire, and she claimed to observe a bright point of light in the sky that moved below the moon and the planet Jupiter upward in the west of the moon. While Barney navigated U.S. Route 3, Betty reasoned that she was observing a falling star, only it moved upward. Because it moved erratically and grew bigger and brighter, Betty urged Barney to stop the car, thank God, for a closer look as well as to walk their dog. Barney stopped at a scenic picnic area just south of Twin Mountain. Betty, looking through binoculars, observed an odd-shaped craft. Hold on, where is it? They said it. It reminded Barney of a huge pancake. So they're saying it's like a disc, too. Carrying a pistol in his pocket, he stepped away from the vehicle and moved closer to the object. Using binoculars, Barney claimed to see 8 to 11 humanoid figures who were peering out of the craft's windows, seemingly to look at him in unison, but all but one figure moved to what appeared to be a panel on the rear wall of the hallway that encircled the front portion of the craft. The one remaining figure continued to look at Barney. Well, let me move it over here. I forget where I watched it on, but I watched it on somewhere. It encircled the front portion of the craft. The remaining figure continued, or wait, where was it? Continued to look at Barney and communicated a message telling him, stay where you are and keep looking. Barney had a recollection of observing the humanoid forms wearing glossy black uniforms and black caps. Red lights on what appeared to be bat wing fins began to telescope out of the sides of the craft, and a long structure descended from the bottom of the craft. The silent craft approached to what Barney estimated was within 50 to 80 feet overhead. Barney reported National Investigations Committee to Aerial Phenomenon, investigator Walter Webb, that begins somehow were not human. Barney tore the binoculars away from his eyes and ran back to his car in a hysterical state. He told Betty, they're going to capture us. He saw the object again shift its location directly above the vehicle. He drove away as fast as he could, telling Betty to look for the object. She rolled down the window and looked up almost immediately. The Hills heard a rhythmic series of beeping and buzzing sounds, which they said seemed to bounce off the trunk of their vehicle. The car vibrated, and a tingling sensation passed through the Hills' bodies. The Hills said that then they experienced the onset of an altered state of consciousness that left their minds dulled. A second series of beeping sounds returned the couple to full consciousness. They found that they had traveled nearly 35 miles south, but had only vague, spotty memories of this section of the road. They recalled making a sudden, sharp, unplanned turn, encountering a roadblock, and observing a fiery orb in the road. Arriving home about dawn, the Hills stated they had some odd sensation and impulses they could not readily explain. Betty insisted their luggage be kept near the back door rather than the main part of the house. Their watches would never work again. Barney said that the leather strap to the binoculars was torn, though he could not recall it tearing. The toes of his best dress shoes were scraped. Barney says he was compelled to examine his genitals in the bathroom, though he found nothing unusual. They took long showers to remove possible contamination, and each drew a picture of what they had observed. Perplexed, the Hills said they tried to reconstruct the chronology. I can't pronounce. of the events as they witnessed the UFO and drove home. They tried to put it in chronological order. There we go. But immediately after the buzzing sounds, their memories became incomplete and fragmented. After sleeping for a few hours, Betty awoke and then placed shoes and clothing she had worn during the drive into her closet, observing that the dress was torn at the hem, zipper, and lining. Later, when she retrieved the items from her closet, she noticed a pinkish powder on her dress. She hung the dress on a clothesline and the pink powder blew away. But the dress was irreparably damaged. She threw it away, but then changed her mind, retrieved the dress, and hung it in her closet. Over the years, 5 laboratories have conducted chemical and forensic analysis of the dress. They were shiny, concentric circles on their car's trunk that would have not been there the previous day. Betty and Barney experiment with a compass, noting that when they moved it close to the spots, the needle would whirl rapidly, but they moved it a few inches away from the shiny spots, and it would drop down. That's weird. They both, on September 21st, they both telephoned the Pease Air Force Base to report their UFO encounter, though for fear of being labeled eccentric, she withheld some of the details. Henderson telephoned the Hills for a more detailed interview. Her report dated September 26 determined that the Hills had possibly misidentified the planet Jupiter. This was later changed to optical condition inversion and insufficient data. His report was forwarded to Project Blue Book in the Air Force UFO Research Project. Betty borrowed from the local library a UFO book. She related the full story, including the details about humanoid figures Barney had observed through binoculars. Betty wrote that she and Barney considered hypnosis to help recall what happened. So did they do hypnosis? Oh, here we go. So she had a series of vivid dreams, which continued for 5 nights. She stated she experienced them with a degree of detail and intensity that she never had before. After the 5th night, they stopped and never reoccurred. They occupied her thoughts during the day, where she mentioned them to Barney. He was sympathetic but not too concerned. The matter was dropped, and Betty did not mention them again. She began writing down the details of her dreams. She said she and Barney encountered a roadblock and the men who surrounded their car. She lost consciousness but struggled to regain it. Then she realized she was being forced by 2 small men to walk in a forest at night, and of seeing Barney walking behind her. Though she called to him, he seemed to be in a trance or sleepwalking. The men stood about 5 feet to 5 feet 4 inches tall and wore matching blue uniforms with caps similar to those worn by military cadets. They appeared nearly human, with black hair, dark eyes, prominent noses, and bluish lips. The skin was a grayish color. In the dreams, Betty and Barney and the men walked up a ramp into a dish-shaped craft of metallic appearance. Once inside, Betty and Barney were separated. She protested and was told by a man she called the leader that if she and Barney were examined together, it would take much longer to conduct the exams. She and Barney were taken into separate rooms. She dreamt that a new man, similar to the others, entered to conduct her exam with the leader. Betty called this a new man the examiner and said he had a pleasant, calm manner. Though the leader and the examiner spoke to her in English, the examiner's command of language seemed imperfect, and she had difficult understanding him. He told her he would conduct a few tests to note the differences between humans and the craft's occupants. He seated her on a chair, and a bright light was shown on her. The man cut off a lock of Betty's hair. He examined her eyes, ears, mouth, teeth, throat, and hands. He saved trimmings from her fingernails. After examining her legs and feet, the man used a dull knife similar to a letter opener to scrape some of her skin on what resembled cellophane. He then tested her nervous system, and he thrust the needle into her navel, which caused Betty agonizing pain, whereupon the leader waved his hand in front of her eyes, and the pain vanished. The examiner left the room, and Betty engaged in conversation with the leader. She picked up a book with rows of strange symbols that the leader said she could take home with her. She also asked where he came from, and he pulled down an instructional map with dotted stars. In Betty's dream, the men began escorting the Hills from the ship when a disagreement broke out. The leader informed Betty that she couldn't keep the book, stating that they had decided that the other men did not want her to even remember the encounter. Betty insisted that no matter what they did to her memory, she would one day recall the events. And I guess they got, hey, Dallas. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So this is like 2 hours long, so I'm not going to be able to play the whole thing, but I can I'll break down the Bob Lazar thing if people don't know what happened. But he was there for 6 months, and then I forget why he left, but let's see if they say it. All right, the craft was split into 2 main levels. The reactor was positioned at the center of the upper level with an antenna extended to the top, surrounded by 3 gravity amplifiers, which in that one video, I don't know if I showed on the screen, but there was like 3, it looked like I don't know, like batteries that move back and forth. The reactor was positioned at the center of the upper level. Oh, I read that. The gravity beam or an anti-gravity wave, and the craft would then travel belly first into this distortion field. Sorry, I'm trying to blow it up so I can see it on there. Is he really a physicist, though? He claims to be a physicist, but... All right, here we go. I guess he did say he saw aliens. So Lazar claimed that during his joining the program, he read or maybe they described him, describing the historical involvement of Earth for the past 10,000 years with extraterrestrial beings described as gray aliens from a planet orbiting the twin binary star system, Zeta Reticuli. Good night, Beatomaniac. As of September 2019, no extrasolar planets have been found in the Zeta Reticuli system. In 1989, Lazar said the seats of the saucer were approximately child size and that he had seen alien cadavers of corresponding size. He said walking down a hallway at S4, he briefly glanced through a door window and saw what he interpreted as 2 men in lab coats facing down and talking to something with long arms. 3 decades later, he said he did not think he saw an alien, but speculated that he saw a doll used as reference for the size of the alleged alien. Lazar alleges that his employment and training records have been erased. However, skeptics, Donald Prothero and Stanton Friedman and Timothy Callahan, find this to be implausible. His story has drawn significant media attention, controversy, supporters, detractors. Lazar has no evidence of alien life or technology. In 2017, Lazar's workplace was raided by the FBI and local police, which Lazar theorizes was to recover Element 115, a substance he says he took from a government lab. Records obtained through a Freedom of Information request show the raid was part of a murder investigation to determine whether his company sold thallium to a murder suspect in Michigan. Lazar is not listed as a suspect in the investigation. He was a... Well, shit. In 1990, Lazar was arrested for aiding and abetting a prostitution ring. This was reduced to felony pandering, which he pleaded guilty. So I wonder if that's where he did the porn stuff. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what it is. But here, that's really, the Lazar thing's like super long. So I'm going to share a link and I'm going to get out of here because it's almost 2 a.m. and I am tired. And now I know I'm going to dream about aliens all night. You still there, Ground Up? Did we lose Ground Up? All right, well, I'm going to get off. I need to get some sleep because I have a Super Bowl party tomorrow and the Super Bowl tomorrow. And yeah, it's going to be a good day. I'm excited. Go Birds. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye, Ground Up, if you're there still. Bye, everyone.